On 4 occasions this year, Grand Valley has played and lost to a top 20 team in Division II football. Can the Lakers reverse that trend tonight?
We're a 54-man unit. That's what we are. Unit up for each other. Let's go!
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Lubbers Stadium in Allendale, Michigan. From the campus of Grand Valley State University, it's Grand Valley football tonight on the Grand Valley Sports Network. I'm Tom Cleary, your host for the proceedings here tonight. Standing next to the guy they tell me is Bob Mitchell. He's been away a little bit this year, missed our last broadcast when he was inducted into the Grand Valley Hall of Fame. Congratulations on that, and welcome back. And let's talk a little bit about a guy who gave a Hall of Fame performance last week for Grand Valley at Findlay. Chris Robinson, a school record 261 yards rushing. Can you get close to that figure tonight, Bob?
Well, this is a really good defense that Ashland's going to bring. The Eagles bring a really stout defense and athletic linebackers, so they're going to have a tough time running that successfully today. But Grand Valley has to establish a run today to help Heath Parling and that Grand Valley offense out against a very good defense.
In the past couple of years when Grand Valley has given up big plays, and there have been some games like that, it's been mostly, surprisingly, against running plays rather than passing plays. A little bit different than what you might see elsewhere in football. This is a team that likes to push the ball. They've got more of a running quarterback in Travis Tarnowski. Grand Valley's going to have to play positional defense, assignment defense.
Yeah, definitely, and a really good talented running back as well. They want to really force the tempo on the ground. They like to really protect their quarterback with full protection with their tight ends, not really allow Grand Valley to put any pressure on that quarterback. And so Grand Valley's defensively is going to have to stop the run and really put pressure on this quarterback.
Ashland comes in with a record of 7-1 for Coach Lee Owens tonight. The Lakers trying to be a spoiler. That's a little bit new for around here. We'll see how it works out. Grand Valley and Ashland coming up next right here on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
You learn something every single day at Grand Valley State University about who you are and who you can become, about where you've been and where you're going, about your goals and how to accomplish them. At the end of the day, you know what you want from life. Find it within yourself. Find it within Grand Valley State University.
I was only 18 when I was diagnosed with cancer. I went from being an active, healthy teenager to becoming very sick very quickly. But thanks to the collaboration between researchers and my oncologist, I survived, and I'm now in remission.
We were curious, could a checking account help fight cancer? We'll give $150 to Stand Up to Cancer and $150 to you when you open a new checking account with direct deposit and make 3 online bill payments at Fifth Third Bank, the Curious Bank.
And if you're wondering what time the sun sets in West Michigan this time of the year, the answer is right now. That's about all that's left of the available light here tonight on the western side of the state as we prepare for this battle between Ashland and Grand Valley on the Grand Valley Sports Network. Tom Cleary along with Bob Mitchell with you tonight. Lee Owens now in his 11th season. Matt Mitchell leading the charge for the Lakers. Grand Valley has been awfully lucky in coin tosses this year, Bob. They won another one again tonight. They'll begin the game on defense and will kick off. Ashland will receive it, and they'll move from south to north to start the contest. It'll be Mike Taylor back with Vance Settlemeyer to receive the kick from Marco Iadarosa as we take a look at Matt Mitchell, who got a huge performance from Chris Robinson last week. Broke a 41-year record, the longest-standing football record, really, Bob, at Grand Valley. And 263 yards on the ground, and it couldn't have come at a better time because Grand Valley is really thin at that position.
Absolutely, and they needed every part of that performance from them last week because Grand Valley had to put some points on the board against Findlay with a very talented quarterback wide receiver combo and some special teams help as well last week. So Grand Valley this week has to be a little bit more sound on special teams as they had one taken back last week. We'll see what the kickoff team right now, right away, can do to hold back this Ashland team.
Well, Matt Mitchell said that last week Chris Robinson's game was really needed because Grand Valley led most of that game, and they got off to a very good start, but it became a necessity because they wanted to burn clock. They might have been able to throw the ball a little better than they did or a little more than they did, but instead they wanted to keep it on the ground and keep it out of the hands of Findlay. Iadarosa is going to hit this one from the 35, a good end-over-end kick, and we are underway, and this will be Taylor at the 15. Has an alley and tripped and knocked down right at the 22-yard line. The guy that got him for the Lakers, I believe, was Tyvel Jemison.
I'll tell you, he had some room to run. If Tyvel doesn't get his hands on him, he might have been getting some big yards on that play. Great play by Tyvel Jamison.
So they will start here with Trevor Tarnowski at quarterback. Taylor is the running back. They play two in the backfield, which is a little bit unusual for this league. Dan Pico is a top wide receiver and a big offensive line. Matt Mitchell told me this week, he said Ashland has good line play on both sides. They're going to be very formidable. Tarnowski's kind of a rollout quarterback, and on first down, his completion is up to the 26 for a short gain. And the guy that glommed onto that one was Cameron Green for Ashland. It'll be second down and about 7.
Ashland likes to keep their tight end in blocking schemes. They like to use their running back, too. They like to protect this quarterback, so Grand Valley is going to have to be patient defensively as we look at their front.
There you see the low numbers up front for Grand Valley. One is Dunning. He's a co-captain. Judon and Mosley are the ends. Boenzi, the big guy in the middle, slimmed down this year and playing pretty well. Tarnowski play action with time over the middle for a first down to the 41-yard line. Pretty good coverage, but a nice catch made by Pico. And they really sold that one well. And we're told this guy is not really a great drop-back passer yet in his career. Tarnowski is a redshirt freshman.
Talking with Jack Ginn earlier this week at practice, his analysis of him was he's like a gym rat. Just a guy that loves to be on the field, but he's not overly athletic. A shorter guy, he's not going to get so many yards on the ground on you, but the kid really is a gamer. Loves to come out and play, and did a great job right there, play action, sucking up the linebackers, allowing that pass to the lane to be open.
Well, he's strong. He's over 200 pounds, but he's not quite 6 feet. He picks up 5 on that third straight completion. Jack Sauber on the stop there. And it was Matt Schweitzer, 80 on the catch for Ashland.
We saw last week Matt Judon had an incredible game with 2 sacks, especially late in the game coming on, and they're going to have to get some pressure on this kid. So far, not a lot of pressure. He gets the ball out of his hands really, really quick. Grand Valley's going to have to dial up some pressure on the defensive side of the ball up front to let these receivers get open.
And this time Lee Owens finally puts it on the ground, and a little bit of confusion there. We saw Taylor didn't really know whether or not he was going to get it from the quarterback, who looked like he was having second thoughts, and that could have, in that situation, led to a turnover, but instead it's just a short gain, 3rd and 4 now.
Yeah, you've seen that in the past. You see that a lot on the read option right there when the quarterback holds that ball into the running back's hands too long. He doesn't know whether he's going to give or take, and a lot of times you see that ball on the ground.
Yeah, the running back that time almost had to pull that one away from Tarnowski. Big play here for the Lakers. Some guys jumping around in the middle there. Look at the quarterback almost genuflecting under center there, which could be a little risky. They're going to hand it off, and Grand Valley is not going to be able to stop the first down progress, I don't believe. He needed to get to the 48, and he does. That's Anthony Taylor running off the left side to make it a 3rd straight first down here for Ashland on this opening drive. Grand Valley will switch it up a little bit. They will get Kyle Short into the game. He's been banged up lately. And going out of there was Alton Voss, who was actually in as a 5th defensive lineman, the former quarterback turned tight end.
You talked about it earlier, the great line play on both sides of the ball. You saw right there Zachary Douglas coming and pulling and making a big hole. Big first down for Ashland.
Now this time Taylor gets loose, and he's into the secondary for big yardage all the way down inside the 30. It's a big pickup on the play of about 19, just down near the 29-yard line. And again, a simple-looking play, but Grand Valley not staying disciplined and able to deal with that, Bob.
You said it, not staying disciplined on their rush, and it opens up a big hole on the left side. Anthony Taylor goes over 1,000 yards on the season with that carry. He's a special running back, 3rd in the GLIAC in rushing, and we've seen some really good running backs here on this field with showing from Ohio Dominican. This kid right here, he's a special one too.
And we've seen some games this year when Grand Valley has not come out that sharp early on in its first defensive set. This time they're going to give it to Taylor again. He's got a lead blocker. He bounces outside, and this could be a huge problem, but Grand Valley maintains the pursuit. You saw the quarterback was out there in the flat himself, and he was almost saying, hey, throw it to me. But I'm not sure if Taylor hadn't already bounced across the line of scrimmage, then got pushed back into the backfield. So it would have been interesting if he had decided to throw it.
A great job by Grand Valley defensively, staying tough up front right there, forcing him to bounce out. Just lost his balance a little bit because he had the edge a little bit, but just couldn't get outside. But good pursuit by Grand Valley. Grand Valley right now has got a stiff one up right here at the 30-yard line, coming close to the red zone.
Second and long, they throw it out in the flat. That was actually a lateral, I believe, and Taylor's got great yardage and a first down near the 19-yard line. I believe he's got the first down. I may have spoken a little bit too soon. We'll wait and see. It's going to be awfully close. They're going to move the chains, and Grand Valley has to be a little disappointed by the way they defended that one due to the fact that that was almost a back pass, and they should have had time to get people out there in front of that play.
Well, Dan Pico, the big wide receiver, their big pass-catching threat, who leads the team in reception, did a great job of blocking on the outside. A big 6-foot, big target, does a nice job of blocking on the outside to allow that play to happen.
Action again. Really good coverage in the secondary, and the guy that made the play was Devontae Jones. I happened to be watching that one from the outset, in no separation whatsoever for Pico that time, and Ashland pretty fortunate. That could have been a real bad result for them.
Well, Grand Valley needs that on the outside, one-on-one coverage on the outside, because they need to bring in against this formidable rush that Ashland has. They have to be able to play one-on-one. You saw it right there, great breakup, great technique there on the outside by Devontae Jones, but he has to be able to do that on the outside, and they have to be able to bring that extra guy in to stop this run.
They're looking to throw again on the slant. It's a beautifully thrown ball, but it's incomplete at the 3-yard line. Boy, great coverage out there for the Lakers, and I think the guy that got over there for Grand Valley was Dante Carey, who broke this one up. This ball is right where it needs to be, and not a bad play by Pico either. He just wasn't able to get the second hand on that ball, so it's 3rd and long now.
Just great timing by Carey right there. I'll tell you, when that pass came out of his hands and I saw that play coming, and it looked like it was going to be a completed pass right to the 5-yard line, Carey does a great job of getting that left and right hand out to the side. It was close to pass interference when you grab that right arm around the backside, but no call. Great play by Carey.
Boy, a late change for Grand Valley getting people on. They are situated. There are a lot of open spaces out there. Let's see what Tarnowski is able to do. He throws it across. Incomplete again. He had actually 2 guys open. He overthrew one and missed the wide open receiver down near the pylon. It'll be 4th down, and this will bring up a probable field goal try for Ashland. So Grand Valley makes a play or two there. They defended a couple of balls. I'm not sure they defended this one as well as they'd like. That's just not a good throw, and really, at the end, it was almost an interception for Devontae Jones. So now we will get a field goal try, I do believe, or wait a minute. Let's see. Could be some trickery or tomfoolery here. They've got the backup quarterback. Well, Tarnowski's back out there on 4th down. They're not going to try to kick. And now Matt Mitchell blows it for a timeout just before the whistle. So he got a look at what they wanted to do. And you wonder if Mitch timed that just right, Bob, because he got a look at the trick formation. And we'll see now if Lee Owens takes the conservative route, tries for a field goal, or if he's got a second trick play or something, a special play to use in this situation.
Well, a critical situation like you talked about, 4th down, and I think Coach Mitchell was really just wanted to see the setup, see what they were going to do, use his timeout wisely, because they were in a spread formation. Grand Valley maybe didn't have the personnel that Coach Mitchell wanted out there. A good timeout, good timing on that timeout if they stop them here, because right now you're kind of in the no man's land as far as field goal kicking. You got a long potential field goal. Ashland's going to, again, looks like they're going to bring out the kicker now.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're going to Cements. The backup quarterback, or I should say the holder, Pico, is out there, and this is Aiden Cements. It's not a terribly long kick, just a touch over 35, and there's really no wind whatsoever. So you got to believe a kicker at this level should be able to do it. He's at the left hash mark, which I'm always banging the drums for. Get that kicker on the left side of the field, because right-footed soccer kickers tend to hook the ball just a little. You don't want them going over the top of one like on a faulty golf swing. And this is the kick I'd prefer to have if I were a coach or if I were a kicker. This side of the field should be pretty easy here with Pico putting it down. Cements, he's got it up. He lined it, and he nailed it through. I don't think he got the perfect hit on it, but he negotiates 35 yards, and Ashland takes the lead. We'll come back with the kickoff right after this on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
For about the past 7 months, Ellie's been running really high fevers, anywhere from 101 to 105. I really appreciated that when Ellie was going through a lot of her health problems that Dr. Duttler called me personally.
I think it's important for parents to know that we really care about these kids just as we would care for our own children. Access to health is really an important part of being a medical home in primary care. So we do allow our patients to make same-day appointments whenever possible. They can email me or they can call.
Ellie really likes going to see Dr. Duttler. The doctor.
Things about a football game: you ain't hurt and it ain't cold. There they are.
I love it.
They're enjoying it, and they're showing their true school colors, one of which has to be considered frostbite pink.
It is cold, not windy, but the conditions are really good for football when we talk about a November 1st game. But yeah, you're not going to see me out there.
I don't think the players mind this at all. I think
No,
they'd consider this about perfect.
Absolutely, absolutely. No wind, no precipitation, and just a nice little chill in the air.
Yeah, those guys are going to work up a pretty nice sweat, despite the fact that I'm guessing it's down in the low 40s right now. Cements kicks off. This is going to be taken here. I think it's that Bean or Camille Jackson back there. And it's a pretty good return for Grand Valley out over the 30-yard line. And the Lakers will have pretty good field position to start. That was Brandon Bean, and Heath Parling will be out there with Chris Robinson, Keontre Miskell, and Potts. Robbins is a wide receiver, Joe Worth. Walsh, Cox, Revenberg, McCallum, and DeLuca. Eric Laboon sadly out with an injury, a tough way for him to be ending his career. And the Lakers will try to get it moving, probably behind Chris Robinson, although you wouldn't expect that they're going to have as much luck rushing against this team as they did last week at Findlay.
Well, that offensive line that we just saw up there is going to have to play a really good football game protecting Heath Parling and trying to put some holes up here for Chris Robinson against a really good defense from Ashland.
On the little bit of a stretch left, they pick up yardage to about the 35-yard line. 261 yards last week for Chris Robinson. I think 33 carries. The eye-opener for me, though, Bob, 8 carries over 10 yards in that game, and 3 touchdowns over 20, and a couple of real long runs.
He did a great job. The offensive line did a phenomenal job, and a lot of back cuts for Chris Robinson last week where the play was going one way, and he actually brought it back the other way. Just a great vision that Chris Robinson has as we look at the defense. Last week, Hubler and Wallace having great games with a couple of sacks each.
This is a ball over the 40 out there. Jamie Potts is in the vicinity, and you know they're going to try to target him when they can. I think he comes up just shy of the necessary yardage for the first down. He's at the 41. It'll be 3rd and 1 for the Lakers, and Grand Valley is going to bring the bigger package back in right now. We see guys checking in like Chris Robinson, who replaces Terrell Dorsey. Joe Warner, the tight end, 240 pounds in there right now. Play being called in from the sideline. Bart Williams and Isaiah Grimes are the two guys out there flashing the signals. I could make a guess as to who the live quarterback is, but I don't want to say anything and prejudge it. Robinson, nice second effort, but I still don't think he quite got there.
He's short.
And there's that deep handoff again. That's a tough play to make in college football these days, but let's wait and see. They're going to be shy, and they're going to have to kick it away.
I'll tell you, Ashland brought 7 up in the box. They had their free safety 15 yards back, and that's a play right there when Heath Parling sees that they've got 10 in the box. He's got to have something, some sort of audible where he can do a play-action pass and throw to one of the tight ends out into the flat, because that would have been wide open. That's a visual thing that Heath Parling needs to see, or the coaching staff needs to recognize when they go into short yardage. I mean, 10 guys were right in the box with the free safety 15 yards back, nobody covering on the outside.
This is Chris Picano to kick it away. This is a good kick, but returnable back inside the 15. Back inside the 10, takes a great Grand Valley bounce, and it's going to be down at the 2-yard line. How about that? 57, make it more like 56 yards on the punt by Chris Picano, and Hersey Jackson got down there and got on it. The veteran from Allendale right here in town, and Grand Valley gets a nice break here, and Hersey with a big smile on his face. And now The Eagles of Ashland will take over 1st and 10. That first drive was, I think, really actually a pretty good drive for both sides. Grand Valley muscled up at the end and kept them out of the end zone, and Ashland moved the ball and flipped the field, certainly, and got a field goal out of it.
Grand Valley right now has to keep Ashland down here, pinned in there, and take control of this field position right now. They cannot allow them to get a first down. They're going to press on the outside and really control that run right now, as the Tarnowski right now is calling something audible.
Boy, well, they're going to throw it. How about that? That's nice, and it's an incompletion at the 5-yard line. That's a nervy call there by Lee Owens.
Well, I don't think it was Lee Owens' call. It looked like it was initially going to be a run, and you saw Tarnowski, if we get a replay, coming up to the line of scrimmage, calling the audible, saw the man-to-man coverage on the outside, and tried to get this quick completion to get just 5 simple yards. Just throws it a little bit too far to the outside. But a great call, a good audible call by Tarnowski on the outside.
So let's see if they have the nerve to put their quarterback in that position again. Grand Valley's got people jamming into the box right now. It's not exactly 10, but there are a lot of people in there tight. And now Tarnowski's going back there to talk to his running back, Anthony Taylor.
Again, play action.
They're throwing deep. Grand Valley's got it covered, but it's caught at the 40. Looked to me like just a little bit of a touch by Eric Tompkins on Devontae Jones. Bob, pretty good receiver play there. Not anything really overt, but he definitely got a little separation with his back arm.
Great job creating the separation, and a fantastic throw running out to your left side. You see Carey coming in late to that picture. There's only one wide receiver on the outside. He has to do a better job of coming over the top and helping out his corner on that, because you're going man-to-man on the outside. And a big, big play for Ashland getting out of their end zone.
Well, big first quarter for Ashland already, because they've negated the great punt by Picano. Here's Taylor, ran into trouble. He's going to be knocked down, but not before he gets up near the 42-yard line. It's only a pickup of about 1 on the play. Should point out that number 7 there in blue is actually Matt Mosley, who had a jersey problem.
Yeah.
Had to switch numbers to an unused number. He's wearing 7 right now. It looks like it's a junior jersey they got from the bookstore. It's not coming down too far.
It's creeping up, isn't it?
Maybe he's just a little bit worried about that getting it out over his shoulder pads properly, but we can see the number 7, and there he is.
Well, he did a great job on that play against Dan Medovitz, the fullback right there, driving him into the backfield, causing that short run right there.
There's a good play on the pass. Little flat pass there, and Grand Valley defended it well and got over to make the stop, and the guy that made the tackle for the Lakers was Deontay Hurst after a pickup of about 5, 3rd and 4 now. So it's on the Lakers again here, and what they've done so far, Bob, is with these quick passes, they've negated what is a pretty productive rushing game from the outside that Grand Valley has with Mosley and Judon.
And they've also put themselves in 3rd and manageable positions for most of their drives. And here we go. We get the running back out of the backfield.
Yeah, they got exactly what they wanted that time. Taylor spins out of bounds at the 30, and the guy that was way behind the play there giving chase for Grand Valley was Deontay Hurst. It looked to me like he might have peeked inside a little bit on the coverage, Bob, as we see this one again. And then Thompson sneaks outside, and
actually Joe Moran.
Yeah, Joe Moran, it's the linebacker.
And it was a good play action. Really made Joe bite Moran on the play action run fake, and he's the one supposed to be out on the outside covering that. A good scheme by Ashland right there, getting their really talented running back on the outside right there, and a big play for Ashland again down at the 30-yard line. This is when Grand Valley did a good job of stiffening up. We'll see if they can do it again.
Well, this time the quarterback broke contain. Now he's going long into the end zone through the hands of the receiver out there. Not really open. It was a worthy try, I think, and not really a gamble, because the receiver was back there and it was either out of play or in his hands, and it'll go as a long incompletion.
I'll tell you what, we talked about this quarterback earlier on. This throw was right on the money. As he was running to his right, we look at this position of this throw. It is a really, really good throw to the outside if his receiver can get up and make a play. But Grand Valley does a great job defensively in their backfield, taking away the initial coverage where Tarnowski wanted to go, forcing him to push to the outside. Now Grand Valley has to continue that in second down.
You have to be worried, though, that he broke contain. Counter play here. Grand Valley missed the first tackle, but they get the running back Taylor the second time. And a little clever call there, a little sprint right, and then the counter action back to Taylor.
Yep.
And it's a pickup on the play of only a couple here. Could have been a bigger play. Watch Grand Valley miss the original tackle right here.
Horling misses the original tackle, but good
luckily,
pursuit.
Yeah, it's a good play that time made by Joe Moran, who missed out on a play a couple of moments earlier. So Tarnowski's got 2 to the top. Interesting setup right now. That big 5-man offensive front has protected the quarterback perfectly so far. Tarnowski does not break contain this time. Oh, he waits long and he throws it, and it's going to be a touchdown. Did the receiver go out of bounds, though, Bob?
No hat from the sideline official.
No hat from the official. Awful close, but Pico is in for the into the end zone, and it's 9-0 Ashland. It looked awful close for me, but we're a long, long ways away. We see the line judge there, and nobody's saying much about it. He was in tight quarters. Let's see if we get a look at this at all. Well, we know the Grand Valley player ran out of bounds for at least a step. And again, it's assignment football. You've got to not break down in that and commit to that out throw before the quarterback's under duress and has to throw it.
What happened right there, Dante Carey had great coverage on the outside, and he peeked into the backfield, saw the quarterback, and right when he peeked into the backfield, the wide receiver broke up field, and he lost vision, and that's where they got the big touchdown.
10-0 Ashland now. Grand Valley down 10 in the first 10 minutes of this game. We're coming back with more on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
Gotta go. I'd like to welcome you to our basement. I'd like to read a brief statement. We, the Hubacher family, are pleased to announce today that we've acquired the following players: Buster Posey, Mike Trout, Yadier Molina, Bryce Harper, Derek Jeter, and Miguel Cabrera. We believe that this demonstrates, once again, our family's unwavering commitment to assemble the very best team in this neighborhood.
Mr. Hubacher, you've really upped the ante here. How do you expect the other families in the neighborhood to respond?
Well, the Harris family's going to be none too pleased.
Word is the Harrises are putting together quite a team of their own. Any concerns?
Under Cliff Harris's mismanagement, they already used up all their wall space with a bunch of paintings. I mean, really, come on.
Dad.
I know.
All right, next question.
Start building your own dream team at fathead.com.
Well, so far it's going good for that man, Lee Owens, and the Eagles from Ashland University on top 10-0. Grand Valley right now has got to find a spark, a team that's pretty much devoid of any emotion and any kind of get up and go right now. They've been stunned here by what has happened, and Grand Valley has not really defended it too well against a team that we didn't think would come in with this kind of freewheeling style on offense.
It's a microcosm of what the season's been like for this Grand Valley team. Really kind of up and down type of season, and right now Grand Valley has to find a way to stop this Ashland offense. Offensively, they got to do something to get some things moving to keep this offense off the ball, but Ashland doing a great job of mixing up the pass and the run and keeping Grand Valley off balance.
Going to be Jamie Potts at the 10. Grand Valley's got a right return set up, and Potts makes a pretty good move to get up over the 30 to the 33-yard line. Shows you what a valuable guy Jamie Potts is. You wouldn't think of him as being a kind of a breakaway return guy back there in the kick situation, but he's dependable, and he's going to get everything he can out of every play, and he gets an 18-yard return that time to help the Lakers with the decent field position. And I think you go back, Bob, to the critical play of this game is not an Ashland offensive play, but that 3rd and 1 Grand Valley had when they didn't convert, and subsequently they kick it away, and yet Ashland still comes up with a 98-yard scoring drive on the touchdown pass to Dan Pico from Tarnowski to make it 10-0. That last touchdown, by the way, 27 yards to Pico. Grand Valley's going to try to run it here on 1st down, and this is going to be Chris Robinson. He is going nowhere. All over Chris Robinson was the Ashland defense, and the guy that got him was Chase Hubler.
Chase Hubler had a big game last week with 3 tackles for a loss and 2 sacks, and he just beat Dan DeLuca across his face with a big play, the senior from Mooresville, Ohio. And like we talked about at the onset of this game, this offense and defensive lines for Ashland, tough kids, stout players, and they play really well and run really well.
An interesting story about Hubler I'm going to tell you in a moment here after this play. Heath Parling with time. This time, Jamie Potts is out there. 15-yard line. Grand Valley with a bomb. Make that to be like a 52-yard gain for the Lakers. Jamie Potts had to wait for it a little, but he did the right thing, caught the ball, didn't think about scoring.
The separation that he got there, too, is unbelievable. 5 yards beyond the receiver, or the defender, I should say. Wow. Great big play, Grand Valley, something that they really needed. Good protection, great throw, great route, great job.
Chase Hubler is a transfer from Indiana. He's from Orrville, Ohio. Do you know who's from Orrville, Ohio?
Redenbacher?
I'll give you a hint. He had something to do with Indiana also. Bobby Knight.
Oh, there we go.
Bobby Knight was the guy that Fred Taylor back in the day used to call the brat from Orrville. When he showed up on the campus of Ohio State when they had the likes of Jerry Lucas and John Havlicek, and Fred Taylor said, by the way, Bob, you're not anything special with this group. He was a important player at Ohio State back in the 60s when they had those great teams there, but he wasn't the main enchilada. They had 3 or 4 guys on the team then that went on to the NBA. Havlicek, Lucas, Larry Siegfried, who played for the Celtics, and Bob Knight decided probably during those days of sitting the bench at Ohio State, maybe coaching would be a nice thing to do.
Good move on his part.
So it's kind of interesting that Hubler is from Orrville.
Oh, interesting that Grand Valley kind of wastes a timeout here. A big play, get a big play on offense, get down to the 15-yard line, and have to call a timeout because they just really weren't sure what set or what they wanted to do down here on the 15-yard line. And that's kind of a situation where you need those times. You don't know if you're
this
not
late in the
those
season, you
timeouts.
got to have that part of it going on. Although I will say this, use them or lose them. That's what you say about first half timeouts. He's got a man open. Parling does. Can't find him. Now he's just going to dump it toward the pylon. Well, the guy that broke free really early for Grand Valley, I believe, was Brian Moran, the backup tight end. 43 right away. He went up the seam, Bob.
Yep.
And it was kind of a risky throw because it was a direct vertical ball that you could tell Parling didn't want to throw till he made his break.
One that he would have had to throw across his body, and I don't think he was ready to throw when he broke open. It would have been a late throw over the middle, which as a quarterback is your biggest sin. You don't want to do that. So not a bad job by Heath tucking it or throwing it away. But again, a wide open field on the right side that he could have tucked it and got some positive yards.
2nd and 10, looking for Potts this time. Jamie's got it. He's out of bounds at about the 8-yard line. That'll be pickup of 7 on the play. Puts the Lakers definitely in a 4-down mindset here. 3rd down and 3. Parling, you don't think of him as a strong-arm quarterback, but he's got plenty of zip on it. He gets it out there very quickly.
That and his timing is really, really good, especially on that out, especially with Potts. Those two work together so very well. And Potts working on Donzel Ashley, the talented defensive back from Ashland. Potts is Ashley's the guy that Potts was able to get behind on that big play. Now Grand Valley here, 3rd and short, has to do something to put some 6 points on the board.
I'm surprised they went to that deep handoff again, but Chris Robinson's got a 1st and goal at the 5 for the Lakers, I think.
It's going to be tight.
Boy, I thought he had it easily there, but they're going to, you can't really tell with the chains now are not really exactly on the sideline, but they're going to move the chains, I believe. You're right.
4th down. Heath Parling came up and showed the hands, showing that they're about a foot short. Now they're going to load the box again. Let's see what Grand Valley does here in regards to trying to make an audible. You got to get the play in here a lot quicker than this because you got to get to the line of scrimmage to be able to read what the defense is going to put up. They're going to get to the line under 10 seconds here. There's a lot of confusion here. I see Grand Valley burning another timeout.
I think they're just going to go. Parling's not going to take the chance. Maybe he's going to sneak it. No, they're going to go Robinson. The play was cursed from the beginning. And there's no other way to say it, Bob, but that's just a bad call because everybody knows Robinson's going to get it. And it's a long, deep handoff. You're handing the ball off 6-7 yards behind the line of scrimmage when you need 6 inches.
2 things are working against you right there. One, you know where the ball's going because they're so late in the play clock that the quarterback can't make any adjustments, so they can just pin their ears back and just attack from the outside, which is where that play initially was stopped. And secondly, Grand Valley's got to get to the line of scrimmage quicker to be able to read that defense and be able to make an adjustment to what the defense is sending you.
That's a play that became really famous, I think, with USC, with all the great tailbacks they had. Everybody liked that deep handoff. If you've got great offensive linemen, your back can then read where the hole's going to be. But when you have to get 6 or 7 yards just to get to the line of scrimmage, it's not a sure thing. And that's a bad mistake by the Lakers. Tarnowski's going to come out throwing. He takes a pop, and that's an incompletion and a good defensive play again for Grand Valley on Pico, this time by Devontae Jones.
Great play by Devontae Jones. That ball was delivered a little bit high because his receiver, Pico, was open, and Pico almost came down with it, but Jones did a great job of getting his hand in there.
And for the first time, they put Tarnowski down onto the turf.
Good job of pressure on the outside.
2nd and 10. Yeah, but that's Grand Valley really has to be kicking itself now on that 4th and 1. The box was loaded again, and you saw guys coming off the corner going right for Robinson. It's if they knew where the ball was going.
Tom, a play action pass right there to the tight end is going to be wide open because of the way they're pinning their ears back.
Grand Valley had this play defended well, but instead it ends up being close to a first down at the 17-yard line, a 9-yard pickup for Taylor. Grand Valley stretched this one out. I just thought somebody just has to reach out and knock him down. They've got all kinds of people in the area. Let's see what happens.
Well, you get a good.
He's waiting. He reads. But Grand Valley, which got contained, then saw a couple of contained guys pushed right out of the play completely.
Great job of patience by the running back Taylor, waiting for his line to set up his blocks. That's when the pursuit from the backside should catch up, and it's just not catching up to the running back.
Grand Valley is one short over here. Hustling over now is Tyvel Jemison. Let's see if they hand it off to Taylor. He's not going to get there. He's knocked backwards to the 15. That time the quarterback probably should have kept it himself, and he would have had some space, but instead Ashland makes the gaffe here.
Jack Sauber sneaking in right here. Big play, beating the tight end across his face, making a huge play for Grand Valley.
Sauber's in there right now. Garrett Poudinet is out hurt right now, and Kyle Short from Rockford has been banged up. So Jack Sauber, well done. He's a guy who's been around this program for a while. He's not a big guy, but he's really tough.
Smart kid, too. Great player. That was a huge play for Grand Valley. Right there, they get out of that situation right there, and they start marching the ball down the field and taking advantage of that field position. Now Grand Valley is able to put some pressure on.
It's not a very good kick by Austin Bruns. Get out of the way, Williams. That is a huge mistake. Matt Williams dropped it, and you could see that coming a mile away. He had to run 25 yards up on that ball to catch it, and if he lets it bounce, it maybe goes to the 50. So Grand Valley continues to shoot itself in the foot. That's a bad choice by a guy who hasn't made any bad choices this year.
Not at all. You know, I mean, as I saw him running up and trying to make the play, I was really impressed the fact that he was going to try to catch the ball in the air because it was a very high kick and he had an opportunity. He just overran it. He just overran it.
What I don't get about that play is if you're going to run 25 yards, well, I couldn't tell if he signaled for the fair catch there or not.
Yeah, he did.
Because if you're going to run up that far, you might as well just take a chance that you're going to catch it and go. This is Taylor now, and he's going to be driven back by Moran, second guy in the hole. Nice job there by 40 in blue for Grand Valley, and Taylor is stopped for no gain. But so far for the Lakers, it's just not going the way they would like. Joe Moran makes a stop there, 2nd and 10. We'll probably only have time for one more play here in the first quarter, which has seen Ashland jump out to a 10-0 lead.
Well, this is kind of the way the season's gone for this Grand Valley team. They've played well, but not well enough to close out some games early on. Lost a couple of close ones to some top 25 teams and another top 25 team in here tonight. And you got to just can't make those types of mistakes against this team.
Boy, I'll tell you what a play that time by Judon, who got held on his way through. I don't know if you could see it, Bob.
He did, yeah.
But he got grabbed from behind, kept pursuing. Tarnowski thought he got rid of him, and I think he just misjudged the speed of number 9.
Well, Matt Judon, as we all know, last year suffered a season-ending knee injury earlier in the year, and he has come on of late. I mean, it takes you about a year to get your back from some knee injuries, and he's playing fantastic.
Second quarter coming up. Lakers trail by 10 tonight here in Allendale on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
Many of our customers are repeat customers. Once they travel with Cardinal, they come back time and time again.
Our drivers are the best in the industry. We have so many positive comments about our drivers.
Cardinal Bus, 85 years of safe, reliable, worry-free transportation. Call us at 800-348-7487.
When cold refreshment calls, Coors Light answers. Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
I was only 18 when I was diagnosed with cancer. I went from being an active, healthy teenager to becoming very sick very quickly. But thanks to the collaboration between researchers and my oncologist, I survived, and I'm now in remission.
We were curious, could a checking account help fight cancer? We'll give $150 to Stand Up to Cancer and $150 to you when you open a new checking account with direct deposit and make 3 online bill payments at Fifth Third Bank, the Curious Bank.
This is a huge play now for Grand Valley. 3rd and about 18, let's call it, for Ashland. First play of the second quarter. Grand Valley's got some heat coming. They throw a screen. Can Grand Valley get out there and make the play? They barely do. It's going to be 4th and about a yard. I'm not so sure Ashland isn't going to go for it. That's not a play that should have had that kind of success. Grand Valley was conceding the short ball, but Taylor turned it into a 17-yard pickup, and I think they're going here.
They're switching up quarterbacks.
They're bringing in Austin Bruns, the second quarterback, who is a runner. The other guy runs pretty well too. I don't know. I don't think Grand Valley is really committed to the play here. Bruns has got plenty of time. He's going to change the signal, change the call. Is he going to pooch punt it? No, he's going to hand it off, and they've got the first down. Easy. Boy, oh boy. Well, Grand Valley can only blame itself there. 3rd and 18, a little pass into the flat going for almost 18 yards, and you got to be able to defend better than that.
Well, they've done that a couple of times against Grand Valley, and it's Vance Settlemeyer that's making that big play, and it's a linebacker coverage that's got to get out into that flat and make a play there. And Grand Valley just a step too slow to get out to the outside.
Tarnowski's back on now. He's going to take a pop. He does, and he throws this one over the bench. Good clean hit there, and the quarterback a little bit slow getting up. And again, it was Joe Moran. But if you go back to that 4th down play, Bob, that Ashland just had there, did you see Grand Valley safety was retrieving as if it was going to be a pooch punt? Well, who cares at that point? If it's a pooch punt, you let it fly over your head, and so be it. You got to get people up there and stop the play. And this is not good for the Lakers.
Not at all. He got cut on the outside on this bootleg play, and the running back Taylor got into his knees, and this is not what you want to see for Grand Valley right now, especially the way that he's been playing as of late. And they're looking at his left knee. The right knee is the one that he had issues with last year with a torn ACL reconstruction. And coming off of that, like I said, it takes about a year. I've had a couple of them myself, and it takes you about a year to get your feet going. And Matt's just been playing really well, and we'll see right here. Just a tough shot to the knee.
You know, I wonder, Bob, maybe it's just a bruise because he wasn't planted. He was kind of getting up over the player, and I know it hurts like crazy, but, you know.
Well, it looked like, if not a bruise, a hyperextension, because he hit him right on the kneecap, and when you do that, your foot and your tibia foul over the top, and it extends those ligaments a little bit. He's up walking. I think he's going to be all right, but boy.
Man.
Grand Valley needs that man back.
You just hold your breath because, you know, knee injuries are a big part of football, and everybody is susceptible to them. But this is a guy who's had 2, has lost so much time, and he is such a good player. And I thought earlier in the year about the irony of the fact that we've got 2 great defensive ends, Danny Richard, who's also from West Bloomfield, like Matt Judon.
The Lakers of West Bloomfield.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And they both had their careers significantly hampered by leg problems. Boy, Danny Richard was about as good an athlete as Grand Valley's ever had for pure athletic ability. He's kind of like Jamie Potts, 2 sports guy, great baseballer. Let's see if Grand Valley can find some answers here against this very, very well-oiled Ashland offense. Tarnowski on play action again. Wide open for about a 7-yard gain. Was that ball incomplete?
Yep, incomplete.
Was it dropped down there? Okay, we saw the receiver down there, Matt Schweitzer. I couldn't tell if he was just putting the ball down on the turf. That was the away part of the field.
David Talley does a nice job of trailing, and I think he might have got his hand in there to knock that ball out as the receiver was coming down with it. Again, 3rd and long again. Grand Valley putting themselves in good position defensively to try to stop these Ashland offense, but so far they've come up with some answers on 3rd and long.
Kind of jazzy looking uniforms here for Ashland too, with that purple look. Almost like a CFL look to it, you know. The Hamilton Tiger Cats, a hit on Tarnowski.
Are you kidding me?
What a fantastic catch that is. That's Pico down there at the 30. That was a Jamie Potts type, one arm extended. And what a throw. The throw was a miracle.
Coverage was fantastic. Devontae Jones on the outside. This is a special football play right there. Look at that.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Great coverage. You just can't.
Devontae Jones, though, did not get turned, didn't hunt the ball there.
You know, but I mean, he was.
But he's running right with him.
That's it. I mean, you know, it's like basketball. You know, great defense, better offense.
9 times out of 10, that ball's going to hit some part of the defender, but it didn't. It's a 1st down and 10, and Grand Valley cannot get off the field again. They take a break this time, and they hand it off to Taylor, and there's really nothing there. They didn't block that one up very well at all. No gain on the play. 2 minutes gone in the 2nd quarter. The Lakers down by 10, and the crowd kind of quiet. I have to say that the Ashland people across the way, those that have made it up here, they've not been making very much noise either.
Everybody's huddled and quiet and trying to stay warm out there.
I think in the case of Ashland, Bob, they're saying, well, let's just let a sleeping dog lie here. We don't want to get anybody too excited. We'll just ho-hum this one.
Well, Grand Valley is 16-2 against Ashland and won the last 14 meetings, so Ashland knows that this team can play.
Ball out in the flat here, and that good communication that time. Taylor thought it was going to be more of a lateral. Quarterback thought he was going to slant up.
You know what? I think Tarnowski saw that play was well covered and just threw it right over the head and just, live to fight another day type of situation. He saw how well that was covered, and not too many things could go well with that play, so I think he just threw that one away.
Yeah, that ball is 10 yards over the head of everybody, so he had plenty of zip. Little infighting at the end. Drew Brenner was one of the guys there hooked up, and referees took a look at it. And it's been a relatively penalty-free game, so I don't think we've had a penalty so far, have we?
No.
And we're going to get a penalty now or a timeout. Is that Grand Valley calling the timeout? No, Ashland.
Owens, yeah. They didn't like what they saw.
The clock was way down, too. The ball was snapped with 1 on the clock. And so Lee Owens is smart. He knows he gets a touchdown here. Now you're beyond 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
With a 17-point lead. That's not to say a 17-point lead makes you invincible. Grand Valley last year against Ferris, I think it was up 17-0. Ended up getting run out into the street.
Yep. And this is a place on the field right now where Ashland can think about going 4-down territory, because they're a little bit too far out for a field goal, and they're in a situation where if they can get 6 or 7 yards here and put themselves in a 4th and short situation, that they can think about going for it on 4th down.
It is really almost incomprehensible after the weather we've had here the last couple of days. Yesterday was crazy windy.
Yeah.
Today there's no wind whatsoever. Mother Nature must have blown herself out of oxygen, because yesterday trees were swaying and kids were getting buffeted as they tried to trick or treat. And today, zip, clear skies, a lot of sunlight, or I should say starlight, out tonight. There we get a picture, I think, of the moon out there on the stadium scoreboard. 3rd down and a little over 10 here. Grand Valley has got to stay disciplined here, and they've got to keep the quarterback in the pocket. They get some pressure on, but he's going to pick up a 1st down or close to it, and then a flag comes in late, which, watch out, there's guys still jumping into the pile, and Pico is still not down. He's got a 1st down, but I suspect this one's going to end up a lot closer to the goal line anyway.
Yeah.
Now you got people bumping and pushing and doing a lot of things. That play probably should have been blown dead a lot earlier.
The same thing, Tom. I mean, that's on the officials right there. That pile is just sitting there. You're asking for players to start getting chippy when you let that play go that far along, and the officials got to do a better job of controlling that game on that play.
The flag is back in the backfield where Tarnowski went down. There's an injured player, Drew Brenner, who was one of the guys who was mixing it up previously, so somebody tried to settle a score with him. But this is going to be a march-off, I think, against Grand Valley. I think a little extra business, and it might have been Judon, possibly, who was involved there with the quarterback after the throw.
Roughing the passer, defense number 9. Half the distance to the goal, and automatic 1st down.
Well, there you hear the call, and that's exactly what it is. Now, you be the judge here. Well, we don't see all of it. But Grand Valley, how does this guy stay up there? And is he really up? I mean, at this point, it's got to be blown dead because he's going backwards.
Your forward progress is moving.
Down.
The officials don't blow that out, and you get 20 guys in a pile. There's going to be some not so good things going to happen from that. And somebody got to blow that whistle.
Somebody could get hurt pretty badly. I don't know that Brenner was involved in that part of it, but Tarnowski's going to come back out. He's done a good job. Travis Tarnowski, the redshirt freshman. Not a 6-footer, but he's got a lot of spunk. And he's directing his team quite nicely now, a lot better than Grand Valley. What do we have here? Lee Owens calling another timeout. Well, they waited too long. Yeah. I think what happened there is the reset happened more quickly than Ashland was aware. They didn't take all that long there, but they just looked up and went, uh-oh.
Yeah.
They ran the clock, and we weren't paying attention.
Going back to that last play, Pico, the outside receiver, they had an inside receiver just clearing out, running deep, and he just came underneath. Grand Valley's got to do a better job of putting a defensive back on Pico on the line of scrimmage and getting him out of his coverage. That last play set, they had Jack Sauber up on the line on Pico with a defensive back, Devontae Hurst, on the top side. They're going to have to think about double teaming this kid because he's really hurting Grand Valley.
We hear a little pounding upstairs here, and we're not too far from the Grand Valley coaches, so I wonder if that's some displeasure that is being vented right now. But I think Grand Valley too. We've seen some balls in the middle of the field where linebackers have not been making drops anywhere near, Bob. There's been a lot of open space in front of the safeties where they have been able to throw the ball, they being Ashland.
Well, we got the same set that they came out with prior to the timeout with Pico on the outside.
Well, quarterback and running back are on the same page here. They were both looking over. Taylor's going to get it, and he's got blasted by McKinnon, but broke the tackle. He gets back to the line of scrimmage, and Grand Valley needs better pursuit there. Isaiah Dunning did a great job. He was first man in, but everybody else just kind of vaporized, and it's a pickup of a couple of yards.
That's where you know the pursuit just isn't there for Grand Valley today. Ashland doing a great job of staying on their blocks, but Grand Valley's got to do a better job of pursuit. When you got a guy like Isaiah Dunning breaking through the backfield and creating, like we see right here, a misdirection. You got Judon and Sauber and some guys down on the bottom of the screen that need to be up into the backfield making that play.
Quarterback with it. He's got some options here. He's going to fire this one out of the end zone. He had a couple of guys in the area, but you can tell he's not a real big guy in terms of height, so he can't stand tall and survey the situation. If the option is not open early, he's got to gas it out of there.
But for a redshirt freshman, this kid is a headsy ball player. You know, Jack Ginn was right when he called him a gym rat. This kid really knows how to play this game right there. Knew he had nothing, and instead of making a mistake and trying to squeeze it in somewhere or trying to outrun someone he knows he can't outrun, just throw it away.
Boy, this is a play that Grand Valley just has to make right here. Third down. Tarnowski with time, throwing, man in the back of the end zone. Nothing there. Good coverage. Lakers got a real nice play there. Val Jemison came off his man and provided a little extra help for Sauber back there, and that'll bring up a field goal try. So Grand Valley, at least for the moment, keep your fingers crossed, has weathered the storm again. And even if they're down 13 after this, Bob, it could have been a lot worse.
You're right about that. And Grand Valley is fortunate there, too, because there was absolutely no pressure coming in on Tarnowski, and then there was not anything coming for a little while. He could have hung on to that ball a little bit longer, waiting for one of his wide receivers to come open.
This is Aiden Semensk, ball between the hash marks this time. Pico is the holder, not really much more than an extra point. It'll be a 25-yard attempt, ball down at the 15. Good snap, good hold. Kick is up. It's not very impressive. No real style points, but it is good. 13-10 our score. Ashland on top of the flailing Grand Valley Lakers. We're coming back with more on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
Learn something every single day at Grand Valley State University about who you are and who you can become, about where you've been and where you're going, about your goals and how to accomplish them. At the end of the day, you know what you want from life. Find it within yourself. Find it within Grand Valley State University.
Now there's Chris Robinson. He's locked in thought right now, trying to psych himself up. The Lakers really haven't given him much of an opportunity to run the ball, and let's be honest about it, Bob, they really haven't had the right plays called when they have given him the ball in certain situations.
Not anything going right now with the running game, but Grand Valley has been able to move the ball effectively, but in their 4 losses, they have not been effective in the red zone, and again tonight, not a really good job down when they did get an opportunity to get deep into the red zone.
Now they've kicked both Potts and Bean. This time it's going to be Bean back at around the 9-yard line. Catches it head high, runs right into a pack. He almost broke free. Gets a little additional yardage and finally falls forward to the 34. He almost got through that skirmish line there where almost everybody was situated. The tall wide receiver makes it a nice return of about 25 yards out to the 34-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10.
We were spoiled with Eric Thompson, weren't we?
Boy, we've had some guys down through the
I'll
years
tell you
who
what.
could take it. Eric Thompson was one. He was the guy that when he hit high gear, after about the 5th or 6th stride, if you didn't have a touch on him, you weren't going to catch him.
And his vision was something else. And you look at Bean and you look at Potts back there, they're reliable guys, but they're just not the breakaway true kick returns that we've had in the past, especially E.T.
Grand Valley really needs to get something on the board right here just to demonstrate that they can. It's a little bit of a delay this time to Terrell Dorsey. Great run all the way into Ashland territory, down at the 46-yard line. Huge, huge pickup there.
It's one of the few times Grand Valley's gone right at the Ashland defense, and a great job blocking up front. And Dorsey does a great job of hitting that hole going north and south, and huge play for Grand Valley getting into the Ashland territory.
I'm going to call that 19 yards for this young guy. And we thought he was going to be redshirted this year, but when Rattay went down and Spencer's been unable to answer the bell, Grand Valley had to change, and Parling's going to be sacked. Well, 31 is back there in protection, and he didn't touch anybody that time.
Didn't even come close.
And he's going to have to hear about that one when he gets to the sideline.
Give him credit on that big run, but he also, one of the things that of a young running back, they also have to pass protect. And that right there, a blitz from the outside, he has to keep his head on a swivel. You start from the inside as a running back looking for the blitz coming in the middle on help, but you quickly got to shade your head to the outside. And we saw it up here, the blitz from the outside, and Dorsey did not see it. And down goes Parling, and 2nd and long.
Play action now, a little toss out into the flat here. Let's see if Grand Valley can make something of it. They get the lost yardage back just about on the pass to the outside. Just a quick little toss to Joe Worth, the senior from Utica Eisenhower. Joe Worth came into the game with 12 catches on the season. Grand Valley now facing a 3rd and 11 here with 9:33 left in the first half.
It's amazing with only 12 catches. He's the 3rd leading receiver on the team.
Well, I think this time Terrell Dorsey's going to have to find somebody or the football. He was open, but Grand Valley instead goes to Potts for the first down. That play took a little time to materialize, but Potts catches it at the 33-yard line for a first down.
Great job, great protection. Peyton McCallum right there late in that series right there, swinging at a defensive lineman. I was very fortunate that he did not get a penalty called on him. And you can see the skirmish on the lower right part of your screen, but a great job of protection by the offensive line, allowing Heath Parling to step up into the pocket and deliver that ball.
Grand Valley's got some time on the play clock now. Lakers have made a couple of changes. I think it's Miskell to the top of the screen. Bean is in for Potts, who gets a break. And Chris Robinson remains on the sideline, and they give it on the jet sweep, and it's going to be Miskell down inside the 30. Short pickup, actually pretty good yardage on the play, almost 4 yards for Keontre Miskell, who came into the game with 23 catches, almost 400 yards. He's had 3 touchdowns. Grand Valley has moved the ball through the air in the games really when Parling has played, and they've had some numbers. Parling's got those quarterback shoulder pads on there tonight. You stand next to Heath Parling now. He is a big fella. I mean, he's a tall guy. He is really beefed up, but he's playing with not a lot of protection on top of his shoulders. Grand Valley move there. That hurts. Now you've given up the gain, and you go back to a 2nd and long.
Heath Parling trying to call an audible, and I think a little,
Grevenberg flinched on the ball.
That's exactly what happened. He kind of moved the ball as the center. We'll get a good look at it right here.
Yep. You can turn your head, but the arm has to stay in place.
Bring the ball with you.
It's always interesting to me. I used to think that the movement of the ball of any kind was completely against the rules, but now you see centers come out there and they can tilt it up and get it on point.
Yeah, you can move the ball around. You just can't change the location. And right there we saw a little location change.
Yeah, it was. Well, Grand Valley's got to protect the quarterback here in this passing situation. Here comes the blitz, and Parling's going to go down again. And it's not the fault of Dorsey this time, because he got one guy, but the second man through for Ashland was Chris Harvey, the starting linebacker. And now Grand Valley's in a world of hurt. And the problem is, Bob, it doesn't seem to be just quite enough variety right now, because you're in a passing situation. It's a straight drop back, and Grand Valley just can't seem to get anybody with separation.
Yeah, the mistake right there was on the right tackle. We saw Dan DeLuca not making the right read. When they have a double blitz on the outside, he went down instead of kicking out. That's an out-out call to help his running back, and just a misassignment by the right tackle. And Heath Parling, I thought originally.
Boy, just about a completion there to Potts down at the 25-yard line. Would have been close to the first down, but Grand Valley's going to have to kick it away here. Parling did a good job of avoiding the rush, stepped up. He didn't really get everything into this one that he wanted, but Jamie almost came up with it. That ball rolled onto his back and out of play. So 4th down and Picano's on. And boy, Grand Valley, it's been a long time since we've seen a scoreless half from the Lakers.
You know, they've got the second longest streak in NCAA with behind Valdosta as far as consecutive games not being shut out. And Grand Valley thus far has really not done too much to threaten.
Cano's punt is a good one, taken at the 10-yard line. Here it is again. Potts, boy, pretty good throw there. Jamie sometimes catches those, but not this time. We'll take a break. More to come tonight from Allendale.
I was only 18 when I was diagnosed with cancer. I went from being an active, healthy teenager to becoming very sick very quickly. But thanks to the collaboration between researchers and my oncologist, I survived, and I'm now in remission.
We were curious, could a checking account help fight cancer? We'll give $150 to Stand Up to Cancer and $150 to you when you open a new checking account with direct deposit and make 3 online bill payments at Fifth Third Bank, the Curious Bank.
Well, this thing has not gone Grand Valley's way at all tonight, and yet the Lakers are only down 13-0. You know, you get a score before the half, it's a ball game. Matt Mitchell just trying to keep his team dialed in right now, Bob. They have really been bending, but they have not yet broken.
Well, part of that scenario that you speak of as far as Grand Valley getting a score before going to half is going to have to be predicated on a 3-and-out right here by this defense. They have to keep Ashland right now down in the shadows of their own goal line, get a 3-and-out right now to give Grand Valley an opportunity to get good field position.
Well, this time they play it pretty well. They're going to stop the running back Taylor down inside the 10 for a loss of a couple of yards on the play as we go inside 7 minutes. One thing I wanted to mention, Grand Valley did not have Chris Robinson out there for that last set, and the telltale sign was after Dorsey hit that big run to start the drive, he stayed in the game. A lot of times you'll get a blow.
Well, we'll see Chris Robinson right now on the sidelines. You and I have a good view of him. He's sitting on the opposite side of the whole play right now with his helmet off, and I don't know if he's injured. He's kind of rolling his neck right now and doesn't have his helmet with him. When you don't have your helmet with him, that's usually a sign of a concussion type situation.
That's probably the first mistake I think that Tarnowski's made. He was able to jack that one out of the field of play, but he took a hit, and he kind of made a dangerous throw into an area with a lot of blue shirts rolling left. Now, I think if you're Lee Owens, you got to realize this kid's not Superman. He's not going to make great throws running to his weak side, if you will, running to the left. There's not many guys that can make that throw, but probably not this guy.
The other dangerous part of that throw is he threw that ball from the end zone, and if that's an intentional grounding, that's a safety.
And not only that, you get a holding situation back there, too, and that's a problem. Third down. Taylor, Grand Valley's got to do better than that. Taylor goes for a first down. Boy, just that speaks for itself right there. 3rd and 1,000,000. They do a vanilla handoff to Taylor, and nobody really touches him for the first 10 or 12 yards.
You get a good look at it right here. Just a simple handoff to the left side, and Grand Valley, no one to be found. Defensive lineman getting blown back 5, 6, 7 yards. First point of contacts after he reaches the first down, and that's the play that Grand Valley needed to make right there to get their offense the ball back in decent field position.
It's from the 8 to the 21 on 3rd and forever. And now I think Lee Owens is just going to slow it down. He's going to run some clock here, and I don't think he really cares if he scores again, but he doesn't want to give Grand Valley the ball back before the half. Taylor's got some space, and let's be honest about it. A lot of this has to go down to offensive line play. They're winning the push right now up front against Grand Valley's defensive front. Not necessarily their line, but there've got to be some guys a little more accountable. That group, Horling, Talley, Hurst, they've got to do a little bit more in trying to stop that run game.
And the defensive line, you look out there right now, you got Mosley, you got Dunning, you got Benzie, you got
Matt Judon is back
as well. He's back and playing, but they're just getting pushed way back off the ball. And Grand Valley coming in with Alton Voss at the left end. I mean, that's how depleted they are. Grand Valley doesn't.
Well, Voss that time lost contained. Grand Valley made a good tackle there as Mosley recovered, but Voss got caught up in the wash.
He's a tight end playing DN. He did a great job of pushing his blocker into the backfield, but just can't release to the outside. But I mean, he's a tight end. He's been playing tight end for the last 2 years, being forced in to play a defensive end position.
We should point out, and he's getting held a little bit there too, I think. But the problem is Grand Valley without DeAndre Hogan, who's started out the season very, very well. Kept Judon out of the lineup for part of the time anyway. But now without him, Grand Valley's gotten thin. This is going to be a little flat throw, and no, pick that ball up, Grand Valley. They thought the same thing I did, Bob. I think that was probably a forward pass, but it was awfully close to being a lateral.
You're right, very, very close, and Grand Valley was right on task right there. I think that was a pretty fortuitous drop by Vance Settlemeyer, because if he had caught that ball, he would have been put to the turf pretty hard. Here we go again, Grand Valley, another third down situation where they got to get off the field here and give their offense an opportunity with just over 4 minutes to play, a chance to put some points on the board.
Grand Valley's got some heat, and they get a tip. Nice play by Jack Sauber. The little guy got up and elevated. And Jack Sauber says, yeah, you give me a matchup with a quarterback who's my size, and I might knock a pass or two down. So Grand Valley gets the stop, stops the clock. Now they get their punt return team back on and a chance for redemption.
Well, here we go again with the backup quarterback coming in again at fourth down and short situation. Grand Valley forced to try to play a safe situation. And
there is no way they're not kicking this ball here.
It's going to be a pooch punt, but they're pointing to the right leg over there on the sidelines. Looks like they're going to do the pooch punt.
Yeah, they're going to kick it away. Now Williams, let's see. Boy, they barely got it off. Williams going to catch this ball, fair catch at the 30-yard line. So I think Lee Owens is coaching a nice game so far. He's had a lot of different wrinkles. He's gone through the entire bag of tricks.
He has.
And more than that, his team has performed. They've not made a lot of mistakes.
Well, this is a win. They must win situation. Grand Valley, like you said on the onset of this game, is that they're playing the role of the spoiler, a position they're not used to. Grand Valley's used to playing teams like Ashland and other teams that are trying to spoil their season. But Ashland right now in the regional rankings, number 7. They need to continue to win. A big win against Grand Valley next week. They finish their season up at Michigan Tech, and if they can win out, there's a good chance that they're going to make the playoffs. And like you said, Lee Owens is emptying his bag of tricks to make sure he can get there.
I'd say they're a worthy playoff team from what we've seen so far. Grand Valley with Terrell Dorsey, and Chris Robb is still on the sideline. So it's Dorsey, a guy that 3 weeks ago was looking forward to September 2015.
Yeah.
He thought he wasn't going to play anymore, and they finally pressed him into duty. He might get 50 carries in the next
It's an
2-3
interesting
weeks.
position to be in. I was in that position my true freshman year, traveling with the team as a true freshman, but depleted tight end scenario forced me to play. And you get late in the season, you really don't want to take your helmet off. You want it to be able to play if you can, but you also want to have the opportunity. And here's a big play.
Oh, did he catch it? He did. Jamie Potts somehow. He looked like he was stumbling, fumbling, and rumbling, but he kept his eyes on the ball. And Heath Parling, to his credit, kept it in the field of play.
Big break in coverage right here by Ashland. Just getting Donzale Ashley just getting turned around by a great route on the outside. But going back to my point is you're getting late in the season and you're trading in basically your freshman year for your senior year. You kind of want to get redshirted at that point so you have that advantage. But Dorsey being forced into action and so far doing a good job, just needs to tone up a little bit on his pass protection.
Grand Valley's got time. They can run the ball if they're successful. Nice play by Dorsey. Dorsey with a first down, still spinning inside the 25. 14-yard pickup on the play. He very nearly touched down almost at the line of scrimmage, but you look at this guy. That's an impressive-looking lower body for that young man.
Play. Chris Harvey coming from the outside right here just has him dead to rights and just does not wrap up. And what balance right there by Dorsey, taking that low hit and getting those extra yards. Great run.
I don't think you want to run into him when he's about a foot off the ground because he's got some powerful legs. Grand Valley has to stay patient here. Just crease the end zone if they can. Time for Parling. Throw out here. This could be problems. Potts, did he break it up? He did. He was behind the defensive back. Jamie Potts actually knocked it away from Donzale Ashley, and it's a good thing because that probably was a ball that shouldn't have been thrown.
Double coverage there on the outside. A great job there by Donzale Ashley, who's kind of been taken advantage of so far by Potts, but he does a great job of breaking up the ball, and Potts just can't reel that one in. A tough throw on the outside and a good job of breaking up that ball by Potts.
Grand Valley getting to the line of scrimmage here. They've got the second tight end, Brian Moran, in the game. He's the H-back right now, coming back to protect Heath Parling. So you know this one's, well, it's not going up. It's going to be Terrell Dorsey spinning again. He got a couple, but now Grand Valley is in a little bit of a fix here with 2:49 remaining. 3rd and 8 coming up. really don't know. It's kind of a tough, precarious position. They throw incomplete here, Bob. It's a field goal try that is considerable, over 40 yards. And you'd have a hard time making that decision as a coach down 13.
And you go back to that first down play, trying to get the big play and trying to score, but yet that throws away a play and throws away a down, and you go and you only get a yard on second down, put you in a tough position right here. And again, the red zone has been a struggle for Grand Valley.
They're going to throw this one up in the air. Grand Valley's got a man out there, but it's Matt Williams who can't pull it down. He's appealing for interference. He thought his hand got stripped away by the defender. I'm not sure who that was back there for Ashland. I think it was Dale Irby, the freshman from Sandusky, Ohio.
Looked like great coverage on the outside. Both guys battling for the ball, jockeying for position. I didn't see anything that should have been thrown a flag.
Now Grand Valley's going to go on fourth down here with 2:16 remaining. I think if they had made anything here, you might have gone for it. But fourth and long, this is asking an awful lot of your offense. And you got to avoid the temptation to go to Jamie Potts because Ashland's going to be looking that way. They're coming with some pressure. Grand Valley's going for Potts. He's out there. Caught it. Whoa. They waved it off. I don't know how it's not a touchdown unless his outside foot touched down. Caught the ball. Boy, I would love to see a look at this one. I don't think Jamie knows for sure whether he was in or not.
He doesn't, but I'll tell you what, the topside referee, who should be over there to be helping out, was nowhere in position to make this call. And
no, he's out. Call. He's out of bounds. Good call. Yeah, we thought when we saw him catch it, the ball was just a touch late getting there. Yep. But again, that's a play that if you throw it out of the field of play, you've taken away your own chance of having a play being made by Jamie Potts, and that's what happened.
Grand Valley in the red zone at the 24-yard line. Three of their four plays were shots to the end zone. Nothing underneath, nothing going to try to get the first down and try to move the ball in position to make a play. And again, the red zone struggles for Grand Valley.
That's kind of a crazy play there for Ashland. They throw it back all the way across the field under duress. It's a 40-yard throw for about a 5-yard gain. But as you know, Bob, this ball hangs up a little bit. This could be an interception. And if it's an interception, well, it could have been a touchdown. But
again, Lee Owens going deep into his bag of tricks. He's trying to draw that whole defense to one side of the field, set up some blocking for his receiver to make a play.
That's a nice ball inside to Pico for a first down at the 37-yard line with 1:35 left in the first half.
How about Ashland, though, not conceding just a 13-0 lead and running this clock out, but yet coming out, throwing and firing, trying to move the ball and get themselves into scoring position.
Well, I think they've learned. You've got to knock out a team like Grand Valley that, despite its problems, is still pretty tough at home. This ball is tipped up in the air, and that was Joe Moran who almost got there. He couldn't do much about it. He was wrong-footed on the play when the ball was tipped away from the direction in which he was moving, so you can't really fault him. But
Matt Judon here does a great job. He gets the running back into his stomach, but does a great job of getting his hands up and deflecting that ball, and that could have been a huge play for Grand Valley, and makes you wonder whether Lee Owens will take the foot off the gas pedal.
Yeah, I think he will. I think that this is going right into the gut of Anthony Taylor, who's back there with Tarnowski now. You know, they fumbled it, and that might have helped Ashland. But again, Grand Valley not tackling, and then a late flag again, and this is going to cost Grand Valley again. It's a late hit on the quarterback.
Just the discipline is just lacking right now for Grand Valley. You cannot touch that quarterback.
Now this ball is not snapped well. They hand off to the quarterback, and I couldn't see who was back there at first. I thought it was Mosley, but I don't believe it was.
Personal foul, defense number 1, unnecessary roughness. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run.
That's Isaiah Dunning, and now Ashland has every right to believe it can score because this ball is going to be marched all the way down inside the Grand Valley 40-yard line to the 36-yard line. Well, you can say whatever you want about this one, but based on the way these two teams have played, the score is right where it probably should be, because Ashland's played great. Grand Valley's made some mistakes. This ball is thrown out in the flat for a short pickup down to the 31-yard line. Again, it was Mosley. That time, a legal hit on the quarterback, Tarnowski, and they got up and slapped hands afterwards. No offense taken. Pickup of about 6 on the play with 71 seconds left here in the first half.
Well, you wonder with Grand Valley if it's just the game internally that's causing the frustration, or if it's actually the season that's wearing on some of these players that
I
are
think
getting
you're right,
the
Bob.
frustrations right now. And you got to get back into yourself, center yourself a little bit, and get a little bit more discipline, and to make some plays.
Grand Valley makes a play there. I don't think they're going to give them the first down. It's going to be short on the catch made out in the flat by Matt Schweitzer. 3rd and 1 now, but the clock continues to roll. And Ashland now going to hustle up to the line of scrimmage because their timeout situation is not good.
They got one timeout left, but if they get this first down, it's pretty much a timeout for them. And they're going to hand off the ball and get that first down. Which will stop
They
the clock.
may have gotten it, but they didn't get it by very much. He had to get to the 37, just got there. Now they're going to move the chain gang ahead. Taylor on the carry. Clock stopped at 46, but they'll reset and go again here.
It surprises me that they're not under center right now, trying to spike the ball to just conserve clock. Instead, you're going to see some ticking of this clock.
Now, they don't have any choice now. They've already wasted about 7 or 8 seconds, maybe more, really close to 10. That should have been a hold there on Dunning, but Tarnowski's rolling. He's firing this one up for grabs, and it's out of the field of play, intercepted. And now Tarnowski yelling for another flag. He got hit again and thought he was handled unduly. I don't know if he's looking down the field for a flag, Bob, or if he just thought he was giving a rough ride himself.
Yeah, doing the redshirt freshman, doing a little politicking right in here as we come into November, and the politics season continues, I guess. But nothing, no harm, no foul on either side, either on him nor in the defensive backfield. Good coverage by Grand Valley in the secondary.
I think Grand Valley has to be aware here of Anthony Taylor. I don't think they're necessarily going to go down the field just because there's only 30 seconds left. Keep an eye on 28.
You got Pico one-on-one coverage on the backside too, and oh, there it is, the tight end drag. Oh, if
and he fell down before he got the first down. I think Ashland's going to have to call its final timeout with 20 seconds remaining.
Great play call right there. Bootleg everything to the right, bring the receivers from the top side all to the right, have their tight end just do a slow drag underneath, and he's wide open. And the ball gets out in front of him, and he can keep his feet. He's going for some big yardage.
Brad Horling got a little bit of a break there as the receiver fell down behind him.
I'll be interested to see when we get our halftime stats, the time of possession. It seems like this defense has been on the field for pretty much the whole half this half. You can see right there Matt Judon really earlier down on his knees, gasping for air, and we don't have a whole lot of depth, Grand Valley, on that defensive front, so they've got a lot of guys playing a lot of minutes up there, and you really ideally would like to have 6 or 7 or even 8 guys to be able to rotate on that defensive line to get those guys a break. And you're bringing in Alton Voss to help out your offensive tight end for depth on that defensive line.
Well, again, Grand Valley's got to play assignment football here. They can't just be chasing wildly. Pico is the guy that you want to keep an eye on, 6 in white with the purple color up around the shoulder. And Taylor out of the backfield is another guy as well. They're looking in the end zone. This is a touchdown.
Broken assignment right there.
Wide Tarnowski getting it to Cameron Green for the score. And now Grand Valley's in a world of hurt, down 19 going into the half. But more importantly, Bob, they just haven't showed us anything offensively in this ball game yet tonight.
You had Horling and Devontae Jones on the outside. I think they were all keeping their eye on Pico, who ran the quick slant underneath, which they've run that route many times so far, and they've gone to Pico underneath. But that time, the coverage rolled underneath to Pico, leaving the wide receiver for Ashland wide open for the touchdown.
Simmons, it's a good knock on this one, makes it 20-0 here with just a few seconds remaining in the first half tonight from Allendale. The Lakers down big.
Something every single day at Grand Valley State University about who you are and who you can become, about where you've been and where you're going, about your goals and how to accomplish them. At the end of the day, you know what you want from life. Find it within yourself. Find it within Grand Valley State University.
It is awfully quiet here tonight in Allendale. The home side not playing very well right now. And the visitors from Ashland playing like a team that deserves every bit of its 7-1 record coming into this one. They have completely dominated in pretty much every facet of the operation here tonight. And Grand Valley is going to have to come up with some kind of a miraculous reboot in the second half, Bob, to just to stay in this ball game, because Ashland and Lee Owens, they've kept their foot on the gas pedal, as you mentioned a couple of times. It's the perfect way to describe it.
Yep. Well, Grand Valley's been on the other side of this, where they've been up 20-0 or up big, and opposition has made some adjustments halftime and come back and either put it on Grand Valley or made the game close. And like you said, Grand Valley's going to have to make some big adjustments coming out. They'll get the ball to start the second half. They're going to have to come down immediately and set that tempo with a scoring drive.
Grand Valley with the return by Potts gets it up near the 29-yard line. Grand Valley will probably just take a knee and head to the clubhouse. But I think you made a good point before, Bob. I don't know that it's just this game tonight. I think this team is a little bit weary from the tough things that have happened to it. You know, the two tough losses, Ohio Dominican and Azusa Pacific games, they might have won.
Yep.
Carling's going to take a knee. And I think there's just a little bit, I don't want to say hangover. That's not the right word, but something like that. But they're just having some difficulty right now. So Grand Valley will go to the halftime down by the score of 20-0. And we'll talk with Tim Selgo, the athletic director of Grand Valley, when we come back with more tonight here on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
For about the past 7 months, Ellie's been running really high fevers, anywhere from 101 to 105. I really appreciated that when Ellie was going through a lot of her health problems, that Dr. Duttler called me personally.
I think it's important for parents to know that we really care about these kids just as we would care for our own children. Access to health is really an important part of being a medical home in primary care. So we do allow our patients to make same-day appointments whenever possible. They can email me or they can call.
Ellie really likes going to see Dr. Duttler. The doctor.
Hey John, check it out. Whoa. Yeah, I was testing to see if we really can turn any device in your house into a TV, and the tablet worked just fine, but I wanted to see if the phone would work as well. So I shrunk Sharon.
Every channel's live just like on TV, but it's my phone.
It's genius.
Shh. I'm watching TV.
Tiny Sharon's mean.
I'm right here.
Watch any channel live on any device around your home. The X1 Entertainment Operating System, only from Xfinity.
All right, it's halftime here at Lover Stadium at Grand Valley State University. Tom Cleary with you tonight. Grand Valley on the short end of the score at the moment, 20-0 against 7-1 Ashland, ranked 23rd in the nation this year. And I'm joined right now by Tim Selgo, the athletic director of Grand Valley, himself a native Ohioan. And the biggest change in this league in the last 4 or 5 years, Tim, has to be the upgrade that's been done by the Ohio schools. They used to be kind of a soft touch, maybe for some of the clubs up north of the border, but you've got so many good teams down there now that have made this league really, really competitive.
Well, when we expanded as a conference 5-6 years ago, I told our coaches, and as you indicate, I'm an Ohio native, so I lived in Ohio 38 years of my life. I'm well aware of all these schools, and I know there's talent in Ohio. There's very good talent in Ohio. And as they all became Division II and got their scholarships up to the NCAA maximum of 36, I knew they would be good teams, and certainly we're seeing that throughout the league. Ohio Dominican, of course, has done a great job in our conference. Ashland's been a team that's always been good in the GLIAC, and now you're seeing Tiffin's having a better year than they've had in the past. Finley was a good team we played last week. So there's no question. It isn't just in the sport of football either. The Ohio teams are starting to make their mark in a lot of different sports. Tiffin winning the men's golf championship. Malone finishing second. In volleyball and in soccer. Ohio Dominican is tied for first with Grand Valley in the women's soccer standings, and they'll get the #1 seed in the conference tournament because they beat us head-to-head. So we're seeing it across the board, and then I think it's going to be that way for a long, long time because there's good talent in Ohio with more Division II teams. They're all starting to go to those schools now.
Tim, down on the field right now, let's see if we can get a shot of Mariah Mascaro, who's one of your favorite people involved in Grand Valley sports. A true All-America performer in her specialty. And, it's almost heartbreaking for us to know that she's only going to be around for one more football game. Next week at Tiffin will be her last time on the field, and she and the other members of the band who have really added to the excitement here. And I know it sounds corny and a little bit obvious to say it, but it's really one of the highlights. And probably as an administrator, you hear from so many people who are so impressed by the additional things that are occurring at a Grand Valley football game, the performance of the band, Mariah, people like that have really made it a great experience to come out here.
Well, it's all part of the Laker game day experience. We want to have the best Division II environment that we possibly can every night out, and Mariah adds plenty to that. I mean, she's just been fabulous. She's an outstanding young lady. She's an excellent student, and that ceremony down there she was presenting President Haas with the National Championship Trophy, which she won this summer. And that's the kind of person she is. She wants to present that to the school. It is tough for us to see that she's a senior and she'll be moving on in her life. She's a great student. She's going to do great whatever she does in life. But besides football, Mariah comes to every home basketball game. She performs at basketball. You don't see that very often. You don't see baton twirlers at basketball, and she is certainly the best in the country. She's been a delight to have on our campus. Like I said, excellent student, excellent person, and all part of the show. And I hope our fans appreciate it because for a very affordable price, they get good college athletics competition, and they get a great marching band like the Laker Marching Band, and then there's Mariah Mascaro, the best baton twirler in the country.
If every athlete at Grand Valley performed like Mariah does, you couldn't lose at anything. I mean, she is just really, truly one of a kind, and it's just astonishing to see the success she's had. Let's move on to something else you like, basketball. We're getting on to basketball season. You're a basketball guy. What's the outlook for the Lakers?
Well, we're not too far away. A few weeks, we'll be starting basketball games here 2 weekends from now, and I'm excited about both men's and women's basketball. Both teams are returning a lot of players. Both teams lost very little to graduation. Some key players. On the men's side, we lost Rob Woodson, our great starting point guard. And then on the women's side, we lost Danny Crandall, who's now helping out as a student assistant coach. So I think both teams got a lot of players coming back that are hungry. And as always, I'm quite certain our GLIAC basketball conference is going to be very strong. A lot of teams. The depth is going to be excellent, and it's going to be great college basketball. So I encourage fans to go to gvsulakers.com, see the website, find out when they're playing. I think you're going to see some great basketball this coming winter.
It's Tim Selgo, the athletic director of Grand Valley, here with us at halftime. Grand Valley trailing right now, Ashland, 20-0, but a lot more football and a lot more still to come here tonight on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
Did you know that community leaders had to raise $1 million before the state would approve Grand Valley?
They did it with the Buck a Brick campaign. People gave bucks for bricks to raise the money.
Do you know what those bucks bought? outstanding academics,
a winning tradition,
places and spaces to learn together and have fun.
a rich community that values inclusion.
A place exploding with talent.
Now is the winter of our discontent.
The bricks have built a community of over 90,000 Lakers for a lifetime.
Lakers who stay informed,
Get involved
give back,
and have Laker pride. Thanks, Tejas.
Go Lakers!
Now you're part of the Grand Valley community. What will you contribute?
No matter what form your brick takes, build something for Grand Valley State, for the region and for you.
You're a Laker for a lifetime.
When you put your name on something, it means something. For over 140 years, Coors Banquet's been brewed in one place with pure Rocky Mountain water and the best high country barley. And someone with the name Coors still tastes our beer every week, making sure it tastes as good today as it did in 1873. That's something we're proud to put our name on. Coors, the banquet beer.
The Meyer Honors College comprises about 1,000 highly motivated students who are in all majors across the university. They're involved in critical thinking and action as well, in the university community, to the community at large, and throughout the world.
The campus is beautiful, and just the all-around atmosphere is amazing at Grand Valley. We have very friendly students and faculty and staff, and everybody just wants to play their part as a Laker.
I would recommend the Honors College because of the experience. It's unique, it's a challenge, but it's definitely good to help develop your own personal skills as well as broaden your mind.
It's a comfortable living space that promotes community and encourages engagement with the faculty. And that kind of space really facilitates the success of the students that live here. It's a community that's focused on engagement, and it encourages you to reach out to the faculty who oftentimes have offices just downstairs, or your advisors who are just a couple hundred feet away.
The folks leading the Honors College, they are phenomenal at taking a personal investment and helping students achieve all that they can while they're at Grand Valley and beyond. They take very seriously cultivating students to be successful, both academically and professionally.
You can work individually with faculty and research. There are all sorts of means of really connecting with people and getting those personal relationships as well as a very, very high quality education.
We care a lot about our students, and there's so many opportunities here as well. Opportunities for students to engage in study abroad, to participate in internships, experiential learning, and plus we have a world-class group of scholars who are here, brilliant scholars who really care deeply about their students.
One of my favorite things about Grand Valley is just the amount of opportunities here. You don't even have to look that hard, really. You just go into an office and say, hey, this is what I want to do, and you've got all of these options in front of you, and it's wonderful.
I heard about Grand Valley through the rowing team, and we started looking into the faculty that teach here, and it turns out that they're from some of the best universities around the whole nation. I'm continually astounded and humbled by the caliber of the faculty that teach here and the sincere interest that they have in the success of their students.
I chose Grand Valley because it had a great academic tradition. I had a great opportunity through the Honors College to really build my critical thinking and leadership skills in a way I don't think I would have had anywhere else.
Grand Valley's growing reputation will really have a strong impact on where I'm able to go with my life. I plan to go to medical school, and I know we do have a good track record of sending students to medical school.
There's no doubt that through your experience in the Honors College, you become connected with some of the brightest students and faculty, and being exposed to those kinds of people help you to push your own horizons.
It's a real privilege to be here and work with some of these students because they're highly motivated. They're out shaping their world while they're here, and then when they leave, what they do is amazing.
Gotta go! I'd like to welcome you to our basement. I'd like to read a brief statement. We, the Hubacher family, are pleased to announce today that we've acquired the following players: Buster Posey, Mike Trout, Yadier Molina, Bryce Harper, Derek Jeter, and Miguel Cabrera. We believe that this demonstrates, once again, our family's unwavering commitment to assemble the very best team in this neighborhood.
Mr. Hubacher, you've really upped the ante here. How do you expect the other families in the neighborhood to respond?
Well, the Harris family's gonna be none too pleased.
Word is the Harrises are putting together quite a team of their own. Any concerns?
Under Cliff Harris's mismanagement, they already used up all their wall space with a bunch of paintings. I mean, really, come on.
Dad.
I know.
Start building your own dream team at fathead.com.
Halftime here in Allendale. The band just finishing up its program for the night, along with the national champion twirler, Mariah Mascaro, who put on quite a show again tonight. Right now it's Ashland putting on the show on the playing field, leading by the score of 20-0. And Travis Tarnowski throwing a ball there that might have led to a touchdown, but instead allowed Ashland to kick a field goal to make it 3-0. And then later, Tarnowski hitting this big ball out to Eric Tompkins. Later, going to Settlemeyer out of the backfield for a big gain across the 30. And then Tarnowski again throwing to Pico for a score. Later again, a great catch by Dan Pico, the outstanding wide receiver. That was a field goal try that glanced in off the upright. And the Lakers just not able to get the defense off the field. Late in the half, we saw that completion there to Matt Schweitzer. And then Grand Valley with a little confusion in the secondary, and Cameron Green catching the second touchdown pass. That one for 18 yards and a score to give Ashland the lead they enjoy right now. It's 20-0. We're still a few minutes away from the second half here tonight in Allendale on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
Celebrating our heroes on open.
As a senior in high school, didn't really know what to expect, but when I stepped in Grand Valley's doors, the atmosphere and just the level of competition and intensity here was unmatched across the board to other schools I visited.
Before coming to Grand Valley, I used to see Division II teams play on ESPN, and I said, I want to do that. Knowing that I know the following year I'll be playing in the national championship game.
He's at the 50, he's at the 40, he's at the 30, he's at the 20, 10, 5, and it's a touchdown, Lakers!
Of course, I'm playing at a broader scale right now in the NFL, but just the pure passion that the fans came out into love us with every day is unparalleled.
There's really an acceptance. You're part of a club, you know, being a part of this team, and you're part of it for life. It's not a 4-year thing. You're a Laker for life.
People around the nation know when you hear Grand Valley State, usually think of they're playing for a national championship, or they're in the playoffs making a deep run, or winning their league even.
A lot of guys play college ball, you know, Division I, and never get to play for a national title. Here you get to play for a national title. You're always going to compete for it here at Grand Valley.
When I came here, they explained it as a big school with a small school feel, and that's exactly how it felt to me.
Obviously, the school's grown tremendously in the last 10 years, but you still have the small town feel, and everyone's a family, just a nice community. It's a great location. Grand Rapids 20 minutes away, the beach 20 minutes away.
It's not overly crowded, but at the same time, there's enough people where you're getting that life experience of being around a lot of different kinds of people.
Grand Valley, I've always known as a prestigious school. It really is. The best education. You're going to get a lot of one-on-one time. The professors here are amazing.
I would say you're going to get a great education, B, you're going to have a great experience playing football, and it's going to lead to a lot more success than just playing football. It's going to lead into your professional career, prepare you for the real world, because there is life after football, and that's something you have to prepare for, and they do a tremendous job of doing that.
I mean, you definitely want to be somewhere where you feel like you can contribute to something that's of a greater cause, and Grand Valley is that. You can see by looking around here on the walls of the great players that have came through here, and you know, the Directors' Cups and multinational championships that not only football but other sports have accumulated.
But I actually felt good that I came to a place that actually wanted me for who I was. They just wanted me as an athlete, and they felt that they can sculpt me and mold me into the player that I am now.
Here, it's the best Division II school in the country for football.
Every day in practice was a grind. The competition level is high.
The people that they bring into this program are some of the best athletes that can be recruited around here. So if you're one of those lucky guys that gets a chance to come here, I take full advantage of it.
The coaches were phenomenal, I think. You're in the moment, you think coaches are hard on you, this and that, but they really taught you some life skill lessons.
The coaches here are really great. They're going to teach you discipline. You know, you're not even going to become a better football player. You're going to become a better man, a better student.
I learned the true value of hard work, discipline, how to be accountable as a human being.
That's kind of what geared me and tailored my mindset for the NFL, and I believe that's why I've made it this far in my career. I'm going to year 6, and that's all because of the things I was instilled and learned here at Grand Valley State.
These guys I played with, they're still my best friends. The coaches, they're still my mentors.
Ever since I've been gone, they've been extremely supportive. I can call and talk to these guys anytime.
It's not just everybody moving on after you're done playing here. You stay in touch with everybody, coaches and players alike.
I come back every offseason. I train here. I train in the indoor facility, and they're great to me there.
At the end of the day, it was a family here. It was a family atmosphere. It was a brotherhood. You could talk to any coach. They would respond to you. And then when it's time to go play, it's that much easier to go out there and play for the man next to you, your coach next to you, because we're just all inclusive, all brotherhood here.
The family atmosphere, the chance to win a national championship, the fun that you have here, it's truly something that any college student would want to be a part of. And a bonus is being a Grand Valley football player where the program and the tradition here is so unbelievable.
There's nothing like playing for Grand Valley. There's so much pride here. You have the best coaching staff. You have the best facilities of Division II, and the best education you can get.
I worked this hard to get to this level. I never forgot where I came from, and Grand Valley was the right place for me, and it gave me this push to get to the NFL and to be a Dallas Cowboy now.
Grand Valley
All right, getting set for the start of third quarter action here tonight. Bob Mitchell is down on the field with head coach Matt Mitchell of Grand Valley. Let's check in with them right now. Bob?
Well, Coach, defensively, we'll start there. What do you got to do to get off the field on third down situations?
Yeah, we probably a little bit too much 3 down. They ran some draws and spit the ball at the running back more. On third down, we anticipated, so we probably got to stay more 4 down, get a little bit more pressure. We're hitting the quarterback. We just haven't sacked him enough efficiently. And the good thing is we stopped the run. But you're right. If we got to stop the run here, and we obviously got to get off the field on third down to give the ball back to our offense.
Well, offensively, you've moved the ball pretty well, but getting into the red zone, not being able to complete. What do you got to change offensively to get the ball in the end zone?
Yeah, well, we're obviously a little banged up. Chris Robbins is probably done for the game, so we got down to Terrell Dorsey. So we can't abandon the run here, especially on first down. And we got to protect our quarterback better. He was getting hit a lot, and you get down to the red zone, you take a sack. We're not built for that right now. So he's going to have to come out here. We got to protect Heath Parley, and we got to make some plays. Our wideout's got to make some plays in the passing game. Down 3 scores, we're going to have to do that a little bit more in the second half than we did the first.
We get the ball here to start up the third quarter. Good luck.
All right, thanks.
Back to you, Tom.
All right, Bob, thank you, and thank you, Matt Mitchell, for those words. Pretty obvious what Grand Valley has to do right now. They have to not abandon the run, like the coach said, and start controlling a little bit of the field. We'll see if the Lakers can do it. Travis Tarnowski and Ashland in charge right now. The second half coming up tonight from Allendale, Michigan on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
When you put your name on something, it means something. For over 140 years, Coors Banquet's been brewed in one place with pure Rocky Mountain water and the best high country barley. And someone with the name Coors still tastes our beer every week, making sure it tastes as good today as it did in 1873. That's something we're proud to put our name on. Coors, the banquet beer.
Well, when you talk about the first half statistics, Matt Mitchell was right when he said that Ashland wasn't running the ball all that well, fewer than 100 yards for this team that runs the ball exceedingly well. But Ashland threw it 33 times for 226. And Tarnowski is a guy that Grand Valley thought would probably depend more on short passes and running the football, but he's put in a beautiful performance here tonight. Grand Valley has not had the ball enough to really do the kind of damage it would like to do. Parling 6 of 11 for 116, most of those yards going to Jamie Potts, all but 7 yards and 1 catch. And the Lakers really not running the ball as effectively as they would like. You heard the coach say that Chris Robinson becomes the third, essentially, tailback to leave a game this year with an injury. Rattay is gone for the year, and Kirk Spencer's not able to play yet after a leg injury. But we'll see what Grand Valley can come up with here tonight as we get set to start the second half. Ashland 20, Grand Valley nothing here as we get set for the start of second half action. So Grand Valley will get it to start. It'll be Potts back with Bean here as we see Ashland trot the kick team out there. Aiden Cements puts it on the peg at the 35-yard line. And we'll find out, Bob Mitchell, whether or not Grand Valley can climb back into this one. I thought it was a good point the coach made. Terrell Dorsey's a capable runner. Grand Valley can't just start flinging it every single down. I think the biggest reason for that is because they haven't been able to protect the quarterback well enough.
Right. And he said, he goes, neither team's really been able to run the ball. I think Ashland's been a little bit more effective running, but Grand Valley cannot abandon the run right now.
This is Brandon Bean cut down near the 18-yard line. And then some guys locking up in the middle of the field there. The little post-kick skirmish. They went after the kicker is one of the guys that got involved in that. Everybody wants to have a piece of the kicker.
Leave him alone. Block somebody who's going to make a tackle.
Exactly. There's a reason why you don't account for the kicker on the kickoff team, right, Bob?
You make him miss. That's the returner's guy right there. It makes him miss. You don't touch him. But so far, Grand Valley doing a good job on kick returns, getting good field position. This time, Ashland is at task, keeping them inside the 20-yard line. Grand Valley going to work at the 19.
Well, Dorsey is out there right now with Parling. He's got time to throw. Jamie Potts makes a good catch on a ball that was a touch high at about the 33-yard line. Luckily, there wasn't anybody that close, or Jamie would have been laid out there.
That was not a good ball by Heath. Not only was it high, but it was to the inside. That ball should be thrown to the outside, away from the defenders. And good thing fortuitous for Grand Valley that there weren't any defenders near that play. Well, good job by sorry to interrupt, but good job by Jamie Potts of adjusting his body and making that catch.
That's a 16-yard gain for Jamie, who was over 100 in the first half. He's been the whole story in the passing game so far. Let's see if Grand Valley goes back to Dorsey here. Now, Parling audibles at the line of scrimmage, maybe going back up on top. Instead, they'll run left, and nice work by Dorsey. Took a hit up around the head, but still gains the 40-yard line, maybe the 41. That's a nice start on first down, about 7 for Terrell Dorsey, who's in there right now replacing Robinson.
Yeah, he's going to be the horse for the rest of this game because, as you heard Coach Mitchell say at halftime, Chris Robinson out for the game, and I didn't get a really good idea of why he's out. We saw him without his helmet, but he looked like he was wincing in pain. I had an opportunity to talk to a couple of the assistant coaches who said he looked like he was more in pain than the initial diagnosis that we thought up here, that maybe a head injury.
2nd and 3 now for the Lakers. Ball out over the 40. Critical series here for Grand Valley. Down 3 scores, but by no means out of it if they can get one in here. Parling, a little drop out into the flat, and this is a play that we'd like to see a little bit more of from Grand Valley. That little drag route by the tight end for the Lakers, and that was Joe Worth that time who made the catch, Bob.
You said it right there. Great play action pass, just leaked the tight end out on the backside. A nice 9, 8, 10-yard gain, and I like the tempo right now by Grand Valley, getting to the line of scrimmage, giving Heath Parling an opportunity to make some adjustments at the line. Right now, he's under center with 20 seconds left on the clock. Plenty of time to make adjustments.
And you get some good chunks of yardage there. You don't need the big hit, but you need to be steady in your progress. Ball at midfield for Grand Valley. Dorsey's going to get it on first down. A little bit of it. That's Hersey Jackson for 5 into Ashland territory at the 45, and this is what really Hersey can do the best. Straight ahead running at this point in his career. He's a big guy,
been delegated a little bit to special teams for most of this year and doing a great job on special teams at that. But now, with the injury to Chris Robinson, getting a little bit of a load here, some carries, giving Dorsey a little bit of a break, and we see him on the sidelines. Looks like he's getting some work done to the face area if he got a hand into the face mask.
Boy, I thought they were giving him oxygen at first, and now it looks like they're fixing a broken nose or something like that. So Hersey's going to continue on. They're going to go right back. Similar play. Grand Valley didn't block it up all that well. I thought Hersey touched down at the 45, but they're going to give him all the way down to the 42-yard line, Bob. A little bit of a fortunate non-call for the Lakers on that particular play. You read that one the same way?
Yeah, exactly. I thought that he went down as well, but I mean, look at the balance though here. He does go down. You're right.
Yeah. It wasn't the first time. It was the second time. He kind of skidded. He got the hand down the first time, but then the knee touched down. Grand Valley 3rd and 2, and boy, oh boy, you want to dial something up nice here, and Grand Valley's going to have to hurry again. Play clock at 10. Boy, they are loading that box. If some Grand Valley can leak somebody out into an open area, chance to throw it, but instead it's Jackson. He's going to not quite, or will he get the first down? He is awfully close. Referee holds up a fist saying 4th down, but I'm not sure. Close enough to measure, maybe?
They're not. It doesn't look like they're going to bring on the chains, and they're going to call it a 4th down situation. Grand Valley is going to go for it here in Ashland territory, but we talked about it earlier it was the same play that Grand Valley had in the red zone where they loaded up the box with 10 guys, a free safety 15 yards back. You run a little play action pass, you had Joey Warner up on the top, just a little block and release to the outside. It's an easy pitch and catch.
Second tight end, Brian Moran, is in there. Grand Valley maybe just sneak it here with Parling here. Nobody over centered. Instead, they hand it off, and Hersey is not going to get there.
Boy, oh boy.
It's just not creative enough at that end. He didn't come close to making the yardage. I mean, they're going to put the ball down in the exact same spot that it was. I don't think there's any way he's gotten it, but
it looks like the chain's right at the 40-yard line. Looks like Grand Valley is just going to be about 2 or 3 inches short with that mark.
And you can see where the referee's standing. He's just standing just inside the 41. Hersey does all he can, but they're cheating in from the outside. And again, the linebacker, I don't know if that was Brandon Gency who got him, or was it Hubler coming in from the outside?
That's the second time in a row, or in this game anyway, that Grand Valley has gone for it on a 4th down situation and gone with that deep handoff, and they did not get it. And both times the play has been made from the outside, from the guys jetting in from the outside, and it's too deep of a play for you to go on a short situation like
Bob,
that.
you heard my call there saying there was nobody playing over the center. In that case, doesn't Parling have the ability to just say, I'm going to snap it and go to either side where the guy is not playing? I mean, all he needs is inches, literally.
Well, on a quarterback sneak play like that, the quarterback goes up and taps the center on the side that he wants to go, and that's where the center blocks, and you just go and you get those few inches that you need.
This ball is thrown out of the field to play. The receiver locked up.
This is going to be an illegal man downfield. Big 74, the offensive lineman for Ashland, was Jonathan Saipa. It was way downfield, about 7 or 8 yards.
That is indeed the call. Mr. Mitchell right on that one. But I get Lee Owens. I mean, he is not going to relax for a second. He comes out play action. He's heaving it down the field. So he's seen something. I think he realizes the best way to beat Grand Valley's pressure is to get that quarterback out and moving and to throw the ball relatively quickly. They're not sitting back in any kind of dropbacks here tonight at all.
And we talked about it at the beginning of the game. This quarterback does a nice job of getting the ball out quick. They do max protection so he doesn't get too much pressure on him. Grand Valley has been able to get to him, but a little bit late, and a couple of them have been 15-yard late penalties. They do a great job of getting that ball out of his hands.
They're going to jet sweep it this time, and Grand Valley should have made a better play on that one. It's Settlemeyer getting up over the 41-yard line, gets the yardage back, but again, he was face-to-face with a defender 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and Grand Valley just didn't make the play.
A couple of defenders, you're right. It looked like an opportunity for Grand Valley to really put them in a third and long situation, or second and long situation, and instead, positive gain for Ashland.
Boy, Grand Valley today twice 4th and a foot. Turn back. Now they're playing without Eric LeBoon. Little shovel pass inside to Taylor, and Taylor's going to run. He didn't get the first down, but it's going to be 3rd and short. He's just shy of the 50. They gave him an awfully good spot there, too, because he bounced all the way up into that Grand Valley logo at the center of the field. Let's see if I'm right on that one. Well, I think they probably did the spot just about right. Just shy of the 50. This is the play that Ashland has made with ease all night long, and Grand Valley hasn't been able to make it all. I formation. That's Medved, so I think who's in there now. And Grand Valley jumped. Free play. Nice toss into the flat. First down anyway. Doesn't really matter.
Boy, oh boy,
I think they'll take the play.
They just look like they're in control of everything right now, doing a hard count, getting them to jump, and also instead of what you would think would be a handoff to a running back with a fullback inside, catching Grand Valley out. And a nice simple pitch and catch to the outside with a first down.
It was Dunning who jumped across. Unfortunately, he's heard his name over the loudspeaker system via the referee's microphone tonight. First down and 10, and boy, the fast start that Grand Valley wanted is simply not materialized. That's a low snap. Tarnowski, he's been dangerous on these plays, and he might be dangerous on this one. And that's good defensive play back there for Grand Valley. The guy that got back there was Jemison. And it's amazing. He didn't turn his head ever, but he didn't put his hands on the receiver either. He didn't run up the back of the receiver, which you see so often when the defensive back is trailing.
Dangerous play for Grand Valley here. Tarnowski just very composed with the drop snap and puts a ball just a little bit underthrown. But as you said, Jemison does a nice job of just reacting to the receiver right there, putting his hands up and then putting his hands up to break up that play.
Just kind of shadowed the movements of the receiver there, Bob. They're going to hand it off inside. The running back taking his time trying to dip back down. Grand Valley plays it well this time, though. They actually got some people down there, and I think Frank Buenzi was one of the guys. Horling was in the area as well. And I think Judon as well. So it's a stop after a gain of maybe 1, 3rd and long.
This is the play that I talked with Coach Matt Mitchell at halftime. 3rd down situations, getting this defense off the field. And this is where they're going to have to dial up and do something a little bit different than they did in the first half, because Grand Valley was not successful in getting off the field on 3rd down situations. They're going to, I think, press man outside and try to put some pressure on the quarterback.
Well, they've got an open receiver here, not enough defensive backs in the area. He got hit as he threw, Tarnowski did, and he had a guy wide open. That was Taylor, who was in the area. Now Ashland will have to kick it away on 4th down. So Grand Valley gets the defensive stop. But really, Bob, you think about this ball game, on those 2 4th down plays, that if Grand Valley makes the first down, where are they at?
No
I mean,
question.
maybe they're back. Maybe they've got 7. Maybe they've got 14.
You got it right there. 4th down short situations. They got to make those conversions. And here we go again, 4th down.
Got to be Pooch here. This is Bruns, the backup quarterback on. And they are not going for it here.
Watch the slant on the outside.
Now
Yep, there's the slant.
That's an unbelievable execution. He's going to come up short of the first down, though. They're not going to give him a good spot. So the Lakers got a break there, and I don't know what happened on that one, Bob.
Well, I was watching the offensive coaches on the sidelines, and when they kicked it, they slapped their leg. This time they put their hand in a slant motion. The defensive coaches up here that we can hear yelled it out as well. Slant, slant, slant. Watch the slant, as they had a one-on-one situation with their really good wide receiver, Pico, on the outside. And a gutsy call, but with the way that Ashland's defense has been playing, you can make those kind of calls.
I didn't think it was a great spot for Ashland, to be honest with you. I thought it was pretty close to picking up the yardage for a first down. They needed 9. They got 8.5, and Parling is back out, and he's going right back to the air. Has time to throw, but this time he misfires. That one got away from Heath. Potts was pretty well covered over there. The defensive back in the area for Ashland that time was Donzel Ashley.
Well, that ball came out really late out of Heath Parling's hands, so there was either a mix-up on the route or Heath Parling just did not get set quickly enough, and I'm thinking it was the former. I think there was a little mix-up in communication on what route that Jamie Potts was going to run on that play.
You know, there's still plenty of time. 23 minutes left in the ball game. Grand Valley can't get greedy here and just think it's got to throw the ball into the end zone. You know, it's like a baseball analogy. You can't go for a home run on every swing.
Right.
You got to get some people on base first, and this is Dorsey, who's running hard. Dorsey, a nice bump that he put on a defender there and turned him around and got back to the 40, and that's just a terrible play at the end of a play where it means nothing. Matt Williams throws down a defensive back, and Grand Valley's momentum will be completely eradicated here after that.
That was one of the dumbest plays I've seen this year out of a Grand Valley football player. The play was well and done. Matt Williams trying to chase down a defensive back and basically grabs his jersey and throws him to the ground. Don't know where the frustration's coming right there, but you get a positive play, you got the ball, you're moving on offense, and these are the kind of things that have killed Grand Valley all day today and quite frankly all season.
It's a dead ball foul. It came after the play. So the discussion now is They're going to give Grand Valley the gain, I think, and then step it off from there. But this ball is going to end up back somewhere in the vicinity of the 25-yard line.
Unnecessary roughness.
These are situations.
Number 24. 15-yard penalty from the end of the
Ashland
run.
has.
The down counts. That will bring
Yeah,
up
that's the
third
big
down.
problem right there. The play, if it happens during the play, you get the play over at least, but that's after the play. So the play counts. You pick up 5, you lose 15. Not good.
And Ashland has found themselves in some negative situations, but they've found themselves be able to recover and put themselves into opportunities to get the first down. Here, Grand Valley at 3rd and almost 20 yards. There's not a whole lot of plays that you can dial up to get this first down. And
Well, you can tell Grand Valley is just trying so hard to scrape up some emotion or something, but yeah, I think it's a team that's been battered by the events of the year, and that ball is very nearly picked off, intended in the flat for Joe Robbins, but the defensive back jumped the route and very nearly had a pick 6, and that was Eric Schweiderman, who knew what was coming there. And again, that particular play, 3rd and a million, that's an awfully risky play for very little return.
Absolutely. You got the defense able to really jump on some routes because they got help over the top, knowing that they've got a long distance to go, and Schweiderman almost a pick 6 right there. Now Grand Valley relying on Picano to try to change his field, tilt it back to Grand Valley's favor.
Well, it's a good kick by Picano, driving the return man all the way back to his 27-yard line, but it's a returnable ball. Miskell got blocked, and that was going to help Grand Valley because he got blocked in the back. So Grand Valley's going to get a nice return on this kick, and we're going to talk about it when we come back with more on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
I was only 18 when I was diagnosed with cancer. I went from being an active, healthy teenager to becoming very sick very quickly. But thanks to the collaboration between researchers and my oncologist, I survived, and I'm now in remission.
We were curious, could a checking account help fight cancer? We'll give $150 to Stand Up to Cancer and $150 to you when you open a new checking account with direct deposit and make 3 online bill payments at Fifth Third Bank, the Curious Bank.
Well, if you're looking for a bright spot for Grand Valley, Chris Picano got off a very good kick under duress there, Bob, and then Keontre Miskell, who was one of the gunners on that punt team, got blocked in the back. I don't know where they're moving this one back to. I don't know if they've even put the ball down yet, but it can't be where they're standing because that's about where the tackle was made.
They might be walking it off after we come back, but great job on special teams by Colin Schlosser here. You'll see a really good play by number 49, the youngster from Forest Hill Central. There's a nice tackle right there and breaks it down, but you said a nice block in the back.
Okay, they have marked it back now. I was thinking originally that the hit took place at the 21. It was the 31, so the 10-yard mark off. Tarnowski with time, throws, man open. Man, how did he drop that ball? Or did he drop that ball? Or did he catch it and fumble? It was kind of hard to tell. That ball didn't hit the ground for a long time.
He never made that possession. Tyvell Jamison on the coverage, but a great throw right into the hands.
Nope, never had it. That's Cameron Green, who scored the touchdown at the end of the first half.
I'll tell you, this quarterback, man, he is a guy that is not afraid to throw into coverage. He throws it in some tight windows and doing a great job of putting the ball where it needs to be.
James Triplett has changed numbers, probably a torn or messed up jersey, maybe bled upon it. Here's Taylor running. This guy is a smart runner because I wouldn't say he's just a guy dodging around back there, but he is waiting. He's careful. He's not going side to side. He's kind of hiding behind people and then accelerating when he sees some space.
Yeah, the running backs for Ashland, I think that one right there was Vance Settlemeyer. Both of them just do a great job of waiting for their blocks and waiting for things to come open, and very shifty runners and just take what the defense gives them, not really waiting there trying to make the big play, but just trying to wait for their linemen to set up the blocks and doing a great job of getting those 5-6 yards of carry.
Can Grand Valley get the heat? Tarnowski throws. It's a first down. Good tackle made by the Lakers at the 39-yard line. But the reception is a nice one to Pico. Brought down by Deontay Hurst. So a couple of guys wearing Al Kaline's number doing battle out there right here. The toss to 6, the tackle by 6.
Dan Pico, 6 foot, 185 pound, the senior from Oak Lawn, Illinois, just doing a phenomenal job of getting open and making these defensive backs work. So that was a crossing route, a long time to cover a guy all the way across the middle.
This is Settlemeyer, I believe, with the ball pushed forward. Lakers had him wrapped up, but a blue shirt pushed Settlemeyer up over the 45, so it's a nice gain, 2nd and 4.
We've talked about it all game. Frank Benzie doing a great job of getting penetration right there, forcing Settlemeyer to cut back, but yet the pursuit has just not been there for Grand Valley tonight. And you wonder whether that's just a thing of fatigue for these defensive linemen not really chasing down that play from that backside. You got a redshirt freshman right now playing middle linebacker in Schlosser. Just a depleted defense right now.
Well, he's got his head spinning around a little bit. He's looking. Tarnowski, quick drop, throws it out in the flat, incomplete. Be careful out there, Tyvel Jemison. That wasn't really an egregious play, but a little extra didn't really need to be done.
Especially tonight with all the flags that have been flying for unsportsmanlike and late hits. You really want to be careful. You see that ball going incomplete, just get your hands off and come here and fight down on another 3rd down critical play for Grand Valley's defense.
Here we go again, Bob. They've got 3 to the top here. Now Grand Valley shifts Deontay Hurst out there on one of the wide receivers. Can Grand Valley get the coverage? The quarterback is scrambling. They're going to get him this time and drag him down. But this doesn't mean anything to Ashland because they've been highly successful, and now flags flying again. Who have they gotten this time? Is it Grand Valley or is it Ashland?
It's looking like it's going to be Grand Valley. It looks like they're pulling Tyvel Jamison off the field. And again,
well, you've just given up if you do that.
That's
If you take that kind of penalty when a couple of plays later he got a bit of a break by not getting called for an unsportsmanlike.
The only thing you can hope for right here is that they call it on both teams and you get offsetting after the play, which would force it a 4th down situation. But again, Grand Valley just not keeping their heads right now. It looks like it's going against Grand Valley at 15 yards.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense, number 10. 15-yard penalty and automatic 1st down.
Well, there's some guys in blue that are pretty upset with that call, and they are venting toward their sideline because they were in a position to get off the field, and then they just gave it up.
I was out at practice earlier this week on Tuesday. I had a good conversation with Coach Matt Mitchell. He was really proud of the way his seniors have stepped up in a situation where they're really not fighting for a playoff position, which is very unusual here in Allendale. And so far, this team has not responded today the way Coach Mitchell told me that the team has responded over the last couple of weeks.
And this is going to be a real problem, and maybe 6. Touchdown, Ashland. It's Anthony Taylor out racing everybody. So 1 play after the unsportsmanlike, Ashland essentially puts this one away with its 3rd touchdown of the night to make it 26-0. And it's hard to envision a way back now for the home side. A little delay play there, and they got a block on the defensive end. We see the pursuit that time, and that's not one that Grand Valley is going to win when you've got the chase there from Deontay Hurst against Anthony Taylor.
Well, not that it's any consolation, but it did look like a good hustle by Hurst, that his knee was down and the ball did not cross the goal line before he hit that pylon. But nonetheless, Grand Valley, good job of running, good job of patience by Taylor on the outside, waiting for that hole to open up, and he just explodes for a touchdown.
Semensk boots this one right through. It's 27-0 Ashland. We'll come back with the kickoff here from Lover Stadium in Allendale after this.
For about the past 7 months, Ellie's been running really high fevers, anywhere from 101 to 105. I really appreciated that when Ellie was going through a lot of her health problems that Dr. Duttler called me personally.
I think it's important for parents to know that we really care about these kids just as we would care for our own children. Access to health is really an important part of being a medical home in primary care. So we do allow our patients to make same-day appointments whenever possible. They can email me, or they can call.
Ellie really likes going to see Dr. Duttler. The doctor.
it's been a very tough night and a very tough season for Grand Valley. The Lakers coming in 4-4, but Lee Owens and Ashland, they've done it to Grand Valley in every conceivable fashion. And what you'd have to say about Ashland, they've played smart here tonight. They've done a lot of different tricky things. They've been on their game. They've played with great confidence, and now Grand Valley, about all they can do now is to play for a score line that'll flatter them a little bit. It's been a long time since the Lakers have been shut out. Can they put some points up here tonight? This will come down to Bean near the 1-yard line. And he's not going to get the 20.
Well, you talk about 3 phases of this game, and so far Ashland has really done a great job on all 3 phases. They've done a great job on kick coverage, kick return, their punt team, which has been an unorthodox punt team where they bring out their backup quarterback and have him pooch pump, but it's been effective for Ashland thus far.
Grand Valley will start 1st and 10 from the 20, and they've got to dip deep into the playbook here because, you know, Ashland's just going to pin the ears back here and go after the quarterback. Grand Valley's playing without its top running back, Chris Robinson. Dorsey has done a pretty good job. And what compounds the situation, Bob, is probably a lack of real breakaway speed on the outside for Grand Valley. So they're going to run the ball with Dorsey here, and he's got a little bit of space. Spins for about 8, 9, maybe gets the first down. I think he does right at the 30-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 with 5:29 left in the third. Grand Valley down big in this one again, 27-0. And you know, you can talk about Ashland's ability to put some points on the board, but Grand Valley had the ball only 11.5 minutes in the first half. It hasn't been much better here in the second half, and at some point, your offense's inability to make something happen really begins to weigh down a depleted defensive team that's played without some of its top guys.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when you talk about a depleted defense, you look start up front with that defensive line, and with only 4 or 5 healthy guys up front, them on the field a bunch does not help them out a lot. And so Grand Valley right now, starting with 4 minutes left, almost 5 minutes left here in this third quarter, needs to put something together, a long drive, give these guys a rest, and put some points up on the board to give themselves a chance.
2nd and 5 after that run by Terrell Dorsey, the sophomore who's lost his boot. I don't even know what they do if he can't get that situation straightened out. Grand Valley needs to get this play in again. Time not really just a factor yet, but Parling finally does get the signal. He's got Potts to the top of your screen. Keontae Miskell is the wide out on this side. These Ashland defensive backs are going to give some space. They're going to try to throw it down the field. Complete. Oh, no, Miskell fought that one a little bit, Bob, instead of nurturing it, and it just bounced out of his hands incomplete for what would have been a nice gain.
Looking to get hit, I think it was, and maybe hearing some footsteps, but turned his head just a little bit too soon and not looking that ball in. And a great throw, great delivery by Heath Parling right into the pocket. And he's got to come up with that play. Another big play for Grand Valley, and now a 3rd down situation that Grand Valley needs to convert to give this defense a little bit of a break.
Well, Grand Valley protected Parling last time. Let's see if they're able to do it this time. Dorsey's going to have to pick somebody up because they're coming from the outside, and Heath is going to have to get rid of it. Looking to set up, throws. It's caught at the 40. Just going to be enough for a first down.
Looks like the spot's
that time, they got it out there to Joe Robbins. Good play by Joe. Good play by Heath Parling there. The receiver with some recognition and awareness of where he needed to get to.
I'd like to see Grand Valley continue that tempo that they started out with in that first drive, getting to the line with about 20 seconds to go on the play clock, allowing Heath Parling to make some adjustments if he need be.
Look at the cushion right now, though, from the defensive corners. They're going to back up. I think that 7, 8-yard ball is going to be there a lot for Grand Valley, and they might be going back to Potts, a similar play this time. No, they're going to hand it off, and again, they cheat from the outside. Yeah. Something is happening where Grand Valley may be giving that play away slightly, Bob, because we saw what happened. The guy crept up close to the line, and he knew that Terrell Dorsey was going to get that ball.
Yeah, Chris Harvey coming from the outside, reading the call by Heath Parling, making that audible and that deep handoff, and that's been the Achilles heel for Grand Valley, that deep handoff and getting caught from the edge.
Sometimes teams get a little bit too comfortable with their formations. They run the same formation every time. A ball out here, and Miskell's not able to collect that one. Good play made out there defensively by James Esther, the defensive back for Ashland. But everybody gets a pet play, and you get a little bit too comfortable, and people recognize the look at the line of scrimmage, and that allows them to defeat the play.
Well, the other thing that kind of tips that off, and you go back 2 plays, is and on an audible, is you got Jamie Potts set out wide, and all of a sudden the audible comes in. He creeps in a little bit from the outside position so that he can cut off the cornerback, but that's a giveaway to the top side for when they can bring the linebacker in on the deep handoff. So it's a good read by Ashland's defense.
Down the middle it comes to Jamie Potts, a sensational catch in traffic. And well, that's how you earn your keep if you're a receiver, a guy that can go get that kind of ball in traffic knowing he's going to take a knock. And that's what Jamie Potts did.
Love that kid. Love number 15. Love a guy that drops 10, 15 pounds to play the wide receiver position, but yet still can go over the middle like a tight end like he was last year and come up with a big play for Grand Valley.
Cody Bloom, one of the starters on that Ashland defense with the stop that time. They go back to Dorsey here. And again, Grand Valley just doesn't have the quickness or the ability to sustain the block to make that play successful. In years past, we've seen it as a combination of both, Bob. Quick guys, Rattay, Spencer, out of the backfield, maybe a touch faster than Dorsey. And some of it's line play. Of course, Eric LeBoon not in there. Jim Walsh is kicked outside. Aaron Cox has been in there tonight at left guard.
Yeah, you got a reestablished offensive line, guys switching positions, playing out of spots, new guys coming in. And an offensive line is definitely, especially with this zone offense read that they like to run, is a situation where the offensive line needs to work cohesively and step together and be able to play together for a long time.
That's a nice ball that time, and a little redemption for Keontre Miskell. That's probably the toughest one he's had to handle, and he not only made the play, but might have been a targeting call there at the end of that one. The head was down from James Esther when the player was on the ground. That raised my eyebrows a little bit there. Kind of unnecessary, but the game continues. Parling looking to go on top. Here's Potts. Can he make a move? He does, and he's into the end zone. Jamie Potts. Well, how about that? Some redemption for the Lakers. That's a good recognition by Parling there. The defensive back bit early on that one, and Jamie just continued on by him and then was able to wiggle his way into the end zone for Grand Valley's first score of the night.
And a great read by Parling. Saw that the break on there and a great catch right there. And you talked about it, Grand Valley, the second longest streak with consecutive games without being shut out. It's 275 games. The last time the Lakers were shut out was by Ferris State, 23-0 back in 1992. It's back close to when I played, so that's a long time. Valdosta State's 278 games is the longest streak.
I wonder if Grand Valley, I don't think there's any reason to really. If the score were a little bit different, they might reconsider and go for 2 here, but 27-6, they still need 3 touchdowns. And they call that a false start? Boy, that's hard to believe. I thought for sure that was an offside. They got up to the line of scrimmage, and immediately Ashland leaped through there. Jamie Potts with the touchdown pass from Parling. Skip around for the extra point attempt, this time from the 15 instead of the 10. And Joel's got it up and through. 27-7 our score. The Lakers are on the board. More to come tonight on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
For about the past 7 months, Ellie's been running really high fevers, anywhere from 101 to 105. I really appreciated that when Ellie was going through a lot of her health problems that Dr. Duttler called me personally.
I think it's important for parents to know that we really care about these kids just as we would care for our own children. Access to health is really an important part of being a medical home in primary care. So we do allow our patients to make same-day appointments whenever possible. They can email me or they can call.
Ellie really likes going to see Dr. Duttler. Doctor.
Well, some of the faithful still here enjoying this one on a cool night. It's only cold if you're sitting still. So those people are trying to get up and dance around a little bit and create a little bit of noise. This is by no means the worst day we've ever had for football, but there's something about cold at night that makes it seem a little bit more unbearable, Bob, than cold during the day.
No question about it. And you said it. If you're not moving around and you're just standing still in this weather right now, it's a chilly one.
Well, I remember the playoff game. I think it was in 2002 with Indiana, Pennsylvania, and it was an absolute blizzard. But it was an afternoon game, and everybody kind of loved it. You know, hey, it's snowing and we're watching football. Grand Valley came out with 3 touchdowns into the wind in the first quarter of that one, led 50-6 at halftime, and then went on to win the national championship. Grand Valley with pretty good kick coverage. Hersey Jackson was down there. He got a hand in, but down on the turf is Keontre Miskell, a little bit slow getting up, who had a critical catch. He's trying to roll to his feet. I think it may be a foot or an ankle for Keontre. That's not what we want to see. Hopefully it's not too serious.
It's a dangerous thing. I mean, you talk about wanting to have great special teams play, and Coach Mitchell talked about it over the years past, that when he's trying to take his starters out of the kickoff coverage of the special teams, they've struggled. So he wants to put his best athletes out on the field, but then you
run the risk.
Exactly, and so hopefully Keontre can come back, because they're going to need him here in the fourth quarter to try to make forward a comeback.
Travis Tarnowski hands it off to Anthony Taylor, who's back on after that great run a little bit earlier in the period. He picks up a decent yardage here across the 25 to about the 27-yard line. Call it a gain of 3.5, maybe 4. Well, now they're going to give him almost to the 28, so we'll say 4 for sure, and probably closer to 5.
Got him spread out all over the field. This is the play right now where they like to go to the running back out of the backfield. He's going to stay in for protection.
Grand Valley's got some heat. That is incomplete. Boy, I think Ashland's got a beef there, because the Grand Valley defensive back on the play, I think it was Trey Walton out there, who's probably replacing Jemison, did have his hands up and on the body of the receiver. And that receiver for Ashland's talking about a possible holding call. That was Drew Brenner, the wide out.
You're right, he did have a beef. There was some really clutching going on right around midfield, around to the 45 to Grand Valley, and I was just looking around for the flags to come. They did not come. A break for Grand Valley. Now, again, here we go again. We've talked about it all game, a third down situation where Grand Valley's defense needs to get off the field.
Got to get off the field, and Lee Owens knows this is a big play for his team, even though there's only a minute 13 left in the third quarter. If he has to kick it here and Grand Valley scores, it's white knuckle time again for a team that's lost some games that it has played well in. Yep. Here in Allendale.
And a great timeout right there by Lee Owens. Didn't like what he saw out there and just took the timeout to make sure that he can put in the set that he wants offensively to get Ashland a first down and keep their offense on the field.
Yeah, if you take a look at the organizational chart for Ashland, as I did before the game, they've got a head coach, but then they've got Doug Geiser, who's an associate head coach, and the offensive line run game coordinator. They've got a passing game coordinator, and, they're probably doing something that makes sense. They're utilizing talents of guys in areas where they're pretty proficient, rather than just saying you're the defensive coordinator, you're the linebacker coach, whatever the case might be.
Well, you say all great leaders have great people underneath them and facilitate, and I think that's what Lee Owens has come to put a staff together, that he trusts some guys that can help him on the run game and the pass game, and so far today they've done a fantastic job. And also give credit to Tim Rose, the defensive coordinator, done a great job against Grand Valley's offense today.
Grand Valley's got to get a stop here. Tarnowski's getting some heat from Judon, throws it across the middle. He's going to be shy of the first down, I believe. Grand Valley saying no. Boy, they're moving the chains. That was a nice pitch and catch there, and it was Pico who got it. And it's hard for me to say, Bob, but I thought he might have been down a little bit early. Now let's take a second look at this one. Yeah, there's not really much dispute about it. It's one of the things I've liked about football the last couple of years. Not all this angst over a couple of inches, and
just move them, go.
Decide and get it over with. And it's going to work out. It's like the jump ball in basketball. Taylor with a great run here. Went a long way to get 4 yards, but he very nearly got more than that.
Just a patient runner, just really waited for his tight end and the tackle to pull right there, cleaned it up, and then was able to cut backside. Give Frank Benzie some credit right there, sticking with the play. The big fella tracked that one down from the backside.
You know what this guy does, Bob? He's a little bit of a dancer, but he doesn't stand still. I mean, he's moving his feet quickly. He's bouncing on his toes a lot. And that seems to allow him that burst of acceleration that he needs.
Well, that bouncing of that feet is just setting him up to get to the position to where he needs to make his cut, and he's done a great job so far. Right there, loses his footing a little bit, but Grand Valley does a nice job of putting pressure. And again, here we go, third down and a good distance for Grand Valley to try to make a play to get off the field, and it's going to take us to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, we'll take a break right now. 15 minutes still to go. Big play lurking for Grand Valley when we come back with more of the Grand Valley Sports Network.
Many of our customers are repeat customers. Once they travel with Cardinal, they come back time and time again.
Our drivers are the best in the industry. We have so many positive comments about our drivers.
Cardinal Bus, 85 years of safe, reliable, worry-free transportation. Call us at 800-348-7487.
Hey John, check it out.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was testing to see if we really can turn any device in your house into a TV, and the tablet worked just fine, but I wanted to see if the phone would work as well. So I shrunk Sharon.
Every channel's live just like on TV, but it's my phone.
It's genius.
I'm watching TV.
Tiny Sharon's mean.
I'm right here.
Watch any channel live on any device around your home. The X1 Entertainment Operating System, only from Xfinity.
Well, can the Lakers get off the field against Travis Tarnowski and the Eagles of Ashland University? Big play coming up here. Tarnowski sitting in the pocket. Time to throw, going deep, going out here. Caught. Against good coverage again, but once again, Deontay Hurst did not get turned around. He was right on the receiver, Cameron Green. It wasn't a great throw, but if you don't hunt that ball at the end of a play like this, Bob, something bad's usually going to happen.
Well, it is a throw that Tarnowski makes that allows his receiver to make a play. So that's all you can ask for Tarnowski and his receivers make that play. And Grand Valley's had those opportunities and haven't made the plays where Ashland has. And give credit to this young redshirt freshman, Travis Tarnowski. He's just playing a fantastic football
Yeah, he's been great. He had a fine game. Here's Taylor now on first down. Got shoved, and Frank Benzie ate him that time. And luckily, Taylor got down and just suffered through his loss there. But that wasn't really a back shoulder throw, but it was to the outside,
exactly.
Which was a smart play by the quarterback. Didn't leave it in the middle of the field where people were hanging around.
Give Lee Owens and his staff credit. You think in a third down and 6-7 yard situation, they're just going to go for the first down, and they're going up top, going for the jugular.
And this is the way a championship team plays, I think. They're playing right to the finish line here in this one. Even though they've got a comfortable lead, they're not going to go away from the things that have gotten them to where they are in this contest.
Yeah, the safe play right there is to put the ball in the hands of your running back and try, chew up some clock and maybe get the first down. But no, they're going for the big play, and here they go again.
Boy, Pico was the second choice on that play. The original play was supposed to go to the other side of the field. Grand Valley started to rotate a little bit that way, and then
I'm not sure
Tarnowski threw it back to Pico. I think he's looking over there. Well, maybe not, Bob. It's a quick turn, so maybe it's just a deception. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, design play. Looking to the right, bring the linebackers and the safety over to the right side, and just have Pico just sit still. And you had Trey Walton just completely bailing out on his coverage, 10, 15 yards back, pedaling, and just gives a nice gain for the wide receiver.
Now this is a little bit different. They're going to hand it off to one of the big guys in the middle. Is that Medvets who had it that time? I believe it was Big 41. The line. Well, I shouldn't say that. I want to change that. Who was it then down there? Gets up off the bottom of the pile.
Yep, 41. You got it. Dan Medvets, the big guy.
I like that call too. They get the first down, but if you're Grand Valley right here, you can't play it safe any longer. You've got to try to make a play, and that means you're going to put yourself at risk, but you've got to press on these outside receivers, and you're going to have to take a chance to get this guy in the backfield because he's been tough when he's had time. Taylor again dancing through, and he's going to dance right into the end zone here. More missed tackles in the middle of the pile, and Taylor makes it a 33-7 ball game. And Ashland is getting its just desserts here tonight because they have played well. They've had a great, daring game plan. You know, we talked about this team being a running team. They threw 33 times in the first half.
Right there.
Unbelievable.
You saw Joe Moran stepping up and ready to make the play, but just can't corral this shifty running back from Ashland. And you wonder whether or not he should be attacking that line of scrimmage a little bit more instead of sitting there waiting for the back to make that play. But give credit to Ashland and their offensive line doing a great job of running the football here in the second half.
This will make it 34 here if Semens can knock it through, and he's not been completely impressive here tonight, but he's done enough to get it done. 34-7 our score. Grand Valley gets it back when we return on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
refreshment calls, Coors Light answers.
Anybody else?
Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
I was only 18 when I was diagnosed with cancer. I went from being an active, healthy teenager to becoming very sick very quickly. But thanks to the collaboration between researchers and my oncologist, I survived, and I'm now in remission.
We were curious, could a checking account help fight cancer? We'll give $150 to Stand Up to Cancer and $150 to you when you open a new checking account with direct deposit and make 3 online bill payments at Fifth Third Bank, the Curious Bank.
Well, Grand Valley gets it back, but now it's a question of whether or not there's enough time to even make an attempt to climb back into this one. It's 34-7. Grand Valley, I guess the story of this one tonight, there have been a lot of stories, Bob, but an inability to convert on short yardage plays and the inability of the defense to make a stop on third down when it really matters.
You got it. Both sides of the ball right there, not being able to convert on 4th and short on a couple of occasions and failing in the red zone, and defensively not getting off the field on third down continues to be the woes for Grand Valley's defense.
Grand Valley's going to have an issue here. They finally do come up and take it, and it's Bean who's got some space up over the 35. Made a good return on that one. It'll be 1st and 10 for Grand Valley, and the Lakers are not going to mail it in. They're going to come out with their best players available here. Parling is right out in the middle of it, and let's face it, even though this one may be gone tonight, Bob, Grand Valley still has a couple of games to play for, and who would have been ever thought that prior to this year when Grand Valley was ranked preseason number 2 in the nation that they'd be fighting to have just a winning record this year. But now that's the case. They're going to probably have to win their last 2 games just to go 6-5. Parling is out there. Potts is still on board. Ashland's going to come with some heat. Heath is going to have to make judicious decisions, and he does. This is a ball out to Robbins for a gain of about 7 or 8. They're going to give him close to the 42 here.
Grand Valley right now is in a situation where their seniors and their upperclassmen really need to step up and play for pride. This is a championship program that Grand Valley has built over the last 15, 20 years, and they got to show it right now. They got to keep fighting, keep battling, show their composure, not give up on this game and not give up on the season. We're going to see exactly what kind of metal these guys are made out of right now.
Parling with time, throws into coverage here, Matt Williams. Luckily, it was too far thrown because the spy on that play, the defender for Ashland, Dale Irby, was drawing a bead on that one had it been anywhere near the field of play. Again, it's a play. I mean, I kind of understand what Grand Valley's doing because they're down by 27, and there's no points for second place in a game like this, but I think smaller bites maybe will allow them to get a little bit more confidence about themselves going into the game next week. 3rd and short here. Parling facing some heat down over the middle. Nice little route that time for Potts. Kind of just sat down in a dead spot. Collected by Cody Bloom, but not before picking up the first down. You know, I'd like to draw a parallel, Bob, and talk a little bit about the problems at the University of Michigan right now. You can see how a season or maybe 2 seasons where things didn't go great for you can all of a sudden bottom your program out if you allow all the other doubts to creep in. So Grand Valley has to keep playing here, and this is a ball that's caught this way. Matt, it's Matt Williams at the 40. He tried to cut back, and then he realized he would be taking the long way around, so he just cut it off, and he's got the first down at the 40-yard line. But, you know, I think that we've seen a big upgrade in the Ohio teams. There wasn't really Division II football that much in Ohio. Now there's 4 pretty good programs in there. They're going to make it tougher for this league. Grand Valley has raised the bar for everybody, and what you often see in sport is that opponents will only stay down for so long. They'll start to play to your level.
Absolutely.
And that's happened to Grand Valley now. They've had some injuries, and it's not going exactly their way. But you have to maintain discipline and just keep playing for the next game, the next week, and that's what the Lakers are trying to do right now. That's a pretty good carry by Dorsey all the way down to the 35-yard line and pick up about 5.
Well, Grand Valley and their fans have got to realize, and I know fans have a short memory, but just last year, Grand Valley's in the semifinals playing Northwest Missouri for a chance to play in the national championship game and really competed very well and had some opportunities to win that football game. You know, you go a year out and a number 2 preseason ranking, and Grand Valley is supposed to be a great team and have some things. They're playing some great competition. The 5th game here, they're playing a top 25 opponent, and just got to be patient with this team and what they're going to do.
Well, that's a late hit there, and I'm surprised the flag didn't fly in when that ball went through the hands of Bean. He actually, I think, stepped out of bounds. I saw a cap come down, but still somebody leveled him at the end of that play. And not that it's going to make any difference,
Well,
but it hurt Bean to take a shot like that, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. But again, just building on that point, the fans and everybody has to just kind of step back and let this coaching staff make some adjustments. I talked to Coach Matt Mitchell, and he had said that Grand Valley had a lot of success recruiting some players and athletes out of the state of Michigan. And in recent years, Western Michigan, Central Michigan, and Eastern Michigan have really done a really good job of recruiting the talent in the state of Michigan. So Grand Valley's got to adjust and maybe look outside the state and bringing in some other athletes. And they recognize it, and they'll get the job done.
Well, if winning were easy, everybody would do it all the time. It's not easy, and you can't get locked into the mindset that just because you've been successful that you're going to be successful.
Right.
It's nobody's birthright.
Right. And you said it. We've been spoiled. You said it out.
Well,
the
Grand
air
Valley's
for us.
finding that out this year, just like the University of Michigan has found it out. This is a deep ball out there, maybe a chance, incomplete, intended for Williams out there at about the 8-yard line. So Grand Valley will turn it over on downs, and the defense will trot back on. And if this were war games, I think you would call it off at this point and let everybody go home. But Ashland's going to have a chance to come back out. And let's face it, Ashland, they've got a secondary goal in this game. They want to show people, athletic directors and people throughout the country, what they're made of. And if they try to score some more points, that's their right.
Absolutely. You look at the regional rankings, and they're not built on a computer statistic model. They're made by human beings. And you look at a big win against a team like Grand Valley, who's really had a great tradition, and they can come into their house and put up some big points. That's going to turn some heads and make some eyes change their minds on the regional rankings. Because right now Ashland sits at number 7, one position out. The top 6 in each region go to the playoffs. So Ashland has this game and the next week a huge game for Ashland up at Michigan Tech to really prove that they deserve to be in the playoffs.
I know Ashland lost early on to Ohio Dominican, but to me, Ashland's been about as good a team as we've seen this year. Settlemeyer's going to pick up good yardage after being stopped for a loss on first down.
The GLIAC's been well represented this year with you got Ferris State at undefeated, wins again today, and a shootout up in Big Rapids against Lake Erie, Ohio Dominican, and then this Ashland team. I mean, you put those 3 teams in a region of 6, they're really going to make some noise in the playoffs.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. And I would say that Grand Valley, I was trying to do the math in my head. I think they've played 5 top 25 teams now this year, and I think those 5 teams had lost a total of 2 games at the time that Grand Valley played them. Collectively now. So we're talking about teams that have had great years. Michigan Tech's had a great year. Ferris has had a great year. Ashland's going to go to 8-1 tonight. Ohio Dominican has still done very well. Azusa Pacific was unbeaten in a team that was in the top 25 at the start of the year. That pass incomplete to Settlemeyer. 4th down now. And if they convert on another 4th down here with a slant or something from the backup quarterback, I think we just have to tip our hat. These guys have come up with some wild ideas.
Number 16 over there on the sideline.
Yeah, he backed up a little bit. That seems to indicate the pooch. Boy, he takes his time getting it off, and now Grand Valley runs into the kicker. Are you kidding me? And it was Matt Mosley who didn't even realize what he did.
Either way, if it's running into or roughing, it's a first down for Ashland, as they only need 4 yards for a first down, and just another mental mistake on Grand Valley.
Well, I think at one point, there's got to be some definition of what determines when a guy's a kicker and when he's a quarterback, because if he's a quarterback who's in position, they're calling running into the kicker. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's still a first down, but if the quarterback's lined up, I mean, would this mean that a quarterback in a shotgun formation who's about to take a sack could just drop the ball on his foot and get a roughing the kicker?
Well,
you get back to me on that one, will you, Bob, with a memo sometime this week?
Might have to put that one into the playbook. Another tough break, though, for Grand Valley and their defense, who's just struggling to get off the field today.
I think Mosley realized he was betwixt and between there. He didn't really clobber him, but he thought, well, what do I do? Just stop him? I mean, he's the quarterback, and that's the way it goes. Alton Voss is back in. Grand Valley shifts some people around. Short comes out of the ball game. It'll be first down and 10, and Lee Owens going to continue to run it. And I think the guys up front that we never, ever mention enough, the offensive linemen for either team, but for Ashland tonight, Jonathan Sippa, James Triplett, Dominic Junta, Zach Douglas, and Belial Knight, the right tackle. Those guys have done a lot of work, and Matt Mitchell told me this week, he said they've got a good line on both sides, and we've seen that firsthand. Especially the offensive line tonight, I think, has really been aces for Ashland.
Grand Valley, talking to the coaches earlier this week, they use a lot of Ashland's film, whether they're playing Wayne State or whomever, because they do a great job of filming down there at Ashland with their facilities, and they've got a lot of opportunity to watch this team, and they said it up front, offensive line, probably the best play that they've seen in the GLIAC this year, and that showed tonight.
Pickup of about 5, that's Settelmeyer there. Their second back has run well too. It's not just been Anthony Taylor who's been good.
Yeah.
But Settelmeyer's had some positive plays as well. It'll be third down now as the clock ticks down to 7:45, and Grand Valley, well, not that 34-7 sounds that good, but you don't want to let somebody come and score 40 on you.
Not at all.
On your home field. Tarnowski there doesn't really have any options until the very last, and then he finds a wide open man streaking down the field. It's Austin Shaheen, the tight end, dragged down, but not until he gets inside the 5.
What a stiff arm that was by the big tight end, rumbling down the sidelines. The back referee falling down, not going to be able to make the call, but a big conversion for Ashland. And you just said a minute ago, you don't want to give up 40 in your home field, and it looks like Ashland's going to be putting some pressure on that.
Boy, Dante Carey's just got to get a better push than that. He has got to get that guy onto the black up near the 20-yard line somewhere.
That's when you got to attack a big guy like that a little bit lower.
Yeah,
as a
you
defensive
don't
back.
want to go upper body to upper body with a guy like that. Tarnowski hands it off to Medvets. He pushes the pile down to about the 2. And to me, Tarnowski that time looked like he was actually genuflecting at the snap. Did you notice that one, Bob?
Yeah,
that time he was really low, and he never came up. Just hiding behind the center there. Frank Boenzi is going to come out, and Grand Valley will get a guy into the game that we haven't seen very much. It's Cody Moore chasing on right now, 97 in blue.
A lot of young guys out there with Schlosser and Cody Moore, some redshirt freshmen getting an opportunity to play tonight.
From Fishers, Indiana, Grand Valley's got darn near everybody in the box this time, but they're going to try to throw it. They're going to lob it into the end zone for a score, and they do. And it's the same guy who caught the big pass a couple of moments ago, Shaheen. Little pop over the middle. Lots of whistles blowing there, and a flag is down, and I suspect this one may be coming back, although you would think where the flag is, it might have been an offside against Grand Valley. They let the play go, so.
Ineligible man downfield. Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty. Repeat.
From the 1-yard line, how can the guy be illegally downfield?
I saw the flag go, and the guy that they called it on, number 74, if you look at it right here,
he's well into the end zone.
Blocking his guy into the end zone, and it's a call you don't see very often, but we've seen it twice tonight. The first one was very egregious. He was 8 or 9 yards down the field. That one, good break for Grand Valley.
Yeah, Voss out, short back in. They're expecting a throw here, but I bet Lee Owens was looking at that little defensive back coming in, and he's saying, we're going to go right back to the ground game here. We're going to spread him out a little bit and give it to Taylor. No, they're looking to throw, and it's going to be a hit on the quarterback, and he's tossed back. And that's one of the few times tonight somebody from Grand Valley has come free. It was Mosley who made the stop back around the 17. So Grand Valley, momentarily at least, has achieved the goal of not allowing a 40th point onto the scoreboard, but hang on, it's not over yet.
Called Taylor's number, Anthony Taylor, great running back all night long there. He just missed his assignment there on his pass protection.
Tarnowski looking it over, has a little bit of time. He's going to throw it in the flat. Grand Valley needs a one-on-one tackle. Well, they got a 3-on-1 tackle, and the third guy got him down at the 8-yard line. Clock continues to run. It'll be 4th down now, and I think Lee Owens is going to do the smart thing here and just kick it. He doesn't want to rub any salt into the wounds because he knows that at some point he's going to be playing Grand Valley again. And it's the judicious thing to do anyway. It's been a good drive for his team. Get the points on the board. You keep collecting points, even if it's by 3. And
game situation for your kicker again. They're going to need him down the road when they get an opportunity to play in the playoffs or even next week up at Michigan Tech.
Impressive team, though, Ashland this year. No question about it. They've been very, very good tonight and are going to be deserving winners here in this one. The kick is up and through. 37-7, a break, and more to come tonight from Lover Stadium on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
For about the past 7 months, Ellie's been running really high fevers, anywhere from 101 to 105. I really appreciated that when Ellie was going through a lot of her health problems that Dr. Duttler called me personally.
I think it's important for parents to know that we really care about these kids just as we would care for our own children. Access to health is really an important part of being a medical home in primary care. So we do allow our patients to make same-day appointments whenever possible. They can email me, or they can call.
Ellie really likes going to see Dr. Duttler. Doctor.
Okay, kickoff to come here. Crowd is thinned a bit in the final period. Grand Valley down big to Ashland. Grand Valley has Potts back with Brandon Bean again. I haven't seen Isaiah Grimes take off his beanie yet. He's got a wool cap on down there. So I suspect it's going to be Parling continuing at quarterback for Grand Valley, even though the Lakers may not be of the mind to be throwing it up in the air too much. This is going to come down to Bean on a basketball bounce. Ran into his own guy, reverse field, and makes a nice run all the way up over the 45, still on his feet, nearly to the 50. And then he got hit again as he tried to get back up, and that wasn't proper. A little extra there from Zach Bernhard, the linebacker, who's an Ashland kid, making the stop after the stop, I guess you'd call that. A nice return by Bean, and that's why coaches don't like squib kicks, because on a turf now, the old grass days, that would have been a pretty cool play because the ball might still be bouncing around.
Two clean up bounces on this turf.
Yep, and Grand Valley with the ball all the way out to the 48-yard line. So Bean is on, Potts, Joe Robbins, Dorsey, and Heath Parling back there. Heath is going to throw it over the middle, and that is simply a drop for Grand Valley. Incomplete pass there to Joe Worth.
Good coverage on the play.
Might be the first tight end drop in the last 10, 12 years that we've seen here at Grand Valley, right, Bob?
It's been a while. That was a catchable ball. We talked about it earlier this year. Joe Worth making the conversion from a inline blocking tight end and catching the football last year and doing a great job this year. That was just a ball that he needs to catch, and they go right back at him, and he catches a tough low
Nice one, Joe. Attaboy.
I like how they went right back to him, too.
Yep. Brandon Jency made the stop there, 58 in white, and I think it's smart here by Matt Mitchell. Let's face it, the game is out of hand. But you don't want to get anybody killed, and you got to develop some confidence in this intermediate passing game because Grand Valley has had trouble protecting the quarterback this year. They've had trouble getting open receivers down the field. So these are the balls in the next couple of weeks Grand Valley's going to have to look at. Parling's going to hand it off here to Dorsey. Dorsey showing some good balance down inside the 35. He's got a first down on 3rd and short. And the Lakers will continue on. Matt Williams is into the game. Potts got shaken up a little bit. He's kind of writhing in pain. That might be the end of his night. I'm not sure where he got it.
Well, he was blocking. He got rolled up onto on the back of his legs. We saw here on the replay on the end of the run by Dorsey where he had his back turned and kind of stumbling and bumbling. And unfortunately, Potts, hopefully nothing too bad, but maybe got an ankle rolled on.
Well, enough to give him the rest of the night off. Parling's going to step up and try to go, and he's going to make some yardage out of this. Get down there, Heath. He does. Smart play at the 28-yard line. Pickup of 6-7. I'm going to call it 6.5 maybe. Went down maybe a tick too soon, but
perfect, though. That's exactly what you want to see out of your quarterback, and something I would love to see out of Heath a little bit more often when he has an opportunity, like open space like that. Tuck it and run, get some positive yards, take the slide, and instead he has a tendency to like to throw the ball away.
Parling with time down the middle now, and that's a play that we'd like to see more, that vertical shot straight up the field. That time a little bit too far for Matt Williams, but a good idea and an open receiver.
Heath Parling tapping himself on the head to his receiver, Williams, motioning that it was his fault, just kind of let him out a little bit too far to the front because he had him open, coming up in the seam down the middle of the field. And that's a play that Grand Valley's run really successfully in the past, running all vertical up the seams and up the hashes.
I think some pressure coming from Ashland this time. Heath is going to have to get rid of it. He threw it too low. Is it caught? I don't know. Oh, boy, that was kind. Joe Robbins, what's your opinion on that one, Bob? Did he get the hand underneath?
We'll get a good look at it here on the replay, but it just looked like he may have gotten his hands underneath the ball. Nope. Definitely hit
That
the
is not a catch.
But
Well,
I'll take it.
I guess metaphysically you could say, or philosophically, it's not a catch, but it goes into the books as a catch and a first down to boot. Grand Valley with Parling dropping now. He's got the short receiver, and this is again a catch for Worth.
These are defensive backs and linebackers have done a great job at Ashland. As soon as Grand Valley's caught any type of ball, they've been getting tackled. Not a lot of yards after the catch on the receptions for Grand Valley.
I think this is a pretty mature approach right now for Grand Valley. I mean, they're not just doing it to get points, but they're doing it because they've got to get some confidence in this kind of passing game, and they have to know that they have the ability to pick up third and short plays. A ball into the end zone, and that's a bad throw. Oh, a deflection for a touchdown to Matt Williams.
Thank you.
Should have been an interception by Eric Schweiderman. He cannot believe it.
That was a bad decision by Heath Parling throwing into
He had a guy
spot.
open, but he threw to the deep guy who wasn't open, I think is what happened. Short guy was open. Schweiderman, but nice concentration by Matt Williams. And well, that wasn't Schweiderman, was it now? Schweiderman was the second guy over there. It was, who was it, Bob? Well, we can roll that one back again. I thought it was Schweiderman, but then I saw number 8 come into the picture at the end. Williams, who scored the touchdown, puts it down for Skipper, and he's got an extra point. We'll review that play when we come back. 2:08 to go. Grand Valley down 37-14 tonight in Allendale.
You learn something every single day at Grand Valley State University about who you are and who you can become, about where you've been and where you're going, about your goals and how to accomplish them. At the end of the day, you know what you want from life. Find it within yourself. Find it within Grand Valley State University.
If there's anybody watching down in Norwalk, Ohio, please apologize to the Schweiderman family for us. That's actually 9 that touched it. Dale Irby, and then we see Schweiderman come over at the end, and Dale just hangs his head in shame. He feels badly enough he didn't intercept it and run with it for a while, but then he turns around and looks and, oh, by the way, it's also a touchdown. Oh, well, a very small blemish on what otherwise has been an outstanding effort tonight by the Eagles here, as they will continue on with their 8th win of the season. They've handled Grand Valley in just about every way tonight, as Ayarosa sets this one down at the 35, and Ashland expecting an onside kick. I don't think so. I think they're just going to knock it down their ways. And this one will sail into the end zone for a touchback. You know, in the old days, Bob, you had to play that ball when it was live.
As soon as it goes into the end zone now, it's a touchback. But a good play right there by Michael Taylor. He had an opportunity to catch that ball in the field of play, but recognized he's not going to have any blocking up front.
Right.
So lets that one go into the end zone and take the ball at the 25-yard line.
2:08 left in this one. It's Ashland 37, Grand Valley 14. Want to remind you once again, if you're a Grand Valley fan, please join us next week for our final football broadcast of the 2014 season on Comcast in the Grand Valley Sports Network. Our start time for the game with Tiffin will be at 4 o'clock. That's a little different twist. We'll have some daylight for that one.
Yeah.
Maybe not the entire game, but I would say probably, 2.5 quarters, maybe 3 before the sun goes down completely on the home portion of the 2014 schedule. So hopefully you'll be able to join us for that. New quarterback in now. Not a guy that hasn't been sidelined the entire night, but he's been out most of the night. Austin Bruns replaces Tarnowski, who might get my nod as the player of the game in this ball game this evening for Ashland. Bruns has had some important plays, though. He's had a couple of conversions on 4th down.
Threw a couple balls as well, but and then did a nice little
Nice little flop when he got hit by Matt Mosley on that running into the kicker call.
Some young guys in here for Grand Valley now. Keen Belcher, defensive lineman, number 92 on the outside. Some guys that haven't seen the field a whole lot this year, getting an opportunity right now.
I think they've gone to the number 3 tailback as well, and they have indeed, and that's number 1 carrying the ball, and that is Michael Taylor, who we have seen on kick returns tonight, but I think this is the first time he's been carrying it. But you look at this one, Bob, in time of possession, Ashland almost 10 minutes better than Grand Valley, and by the time this one is over, it will be more like 12 minutes.
And it seems like a 2-to-1 situation with the time of possession, and you look at the way that they ran the ball. They were very successful against Grand Valley today, running for almost 170 yards and doing it with a 2-headed attack. And that's when Grand Valley has had a lot of success in the years past, having a stable of running backs being able to come at you in different realms. And Settlemeyer and Taylor doing a great job of running the football today.
Lee Owens deciding to call off the hunt right now as Bruns takes a knee. He'll have to take one more, I think, here with just about 40 seconds left of the contest. The clock, the play clock is at 27. They can just snap it one more time, and then it's all over but the dig, and as long as they get inside the 30. And this will be the final snap of the night. A knee taken by Bruns, and Ashland will celebrate a victory here in Allendale. It's been a long, dry spell against the Lakers, but Bob Mitchell, as we wrap it up, it's a well-deserved victory. Nothing fluky about it, and the better team won.
Absolutely. Grand Valley has faced some really good competition in the GLIAC this year. Michigan Tech as being one of them a few weeks ago, Ohio Dominican and Ferris State, and Ashland is right up there with all of those teams. And it'll be a tough week for Grand Valley, but they're going to have to come back to fight against Tiffin next week. And good luck to Ashland going up to Michigan Tech next week.
Well, there was a time when Ashland, or I should say Tiffin, was a gimme, and that time has passed as far as Grand Valley is concerned. But it is another victory that makes 6 in a row for Ashland to go to 8-1 on the season, 7-1 in the GLIAC. Grand Valley 4-5 overall, 4-4 in league play. Our crew did a good job tonight on a cold night. We appreciate their efforts, and we thank you for joining us for the football action here tonight on the Grand Valley Sports Network. So that'll wrap it up from here at Lubber Stadium in Allendale. For our producer-director, Bill Cuppy, and our entire crew, and for Bob Mitchell, I'm Tom Cleary. Thanks for joining us here tonight. We'll see you next Saturday at 4 for the game here at Lubbers with Tiffin. Until then, our final score tonight, it's the Eagles of Ashland University 37, Grand Valley 14.